Hello, everyone, and welcome into the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Tonight, we are coming to you live from Evansville, Indiana, and Bosse Field for Game 2 of this three-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Hi, everyone. I'm Zach Ziegler, taking you through all the action here throughout the 2016 season. Last night, your Washington Wild Things unfortunately fell to the Evansville Otters by the score of 5-3. We're going to have a recap of that one for you coming up. Also, a sit-down from yesterday's Wild Things star of the game, Logan Uxa. Uxa went 3 for 5 in the ball game, drove in all three of his team's runs, including a solo shot, his 6th home run of the year. Also provided a big run in the 9th inning. So we're going to talk to him a little bit. Then we're going to take a look at the lineups and the pitching matchup in this one. And it's all coming up right here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. As we said, it's Game 2 of this three-game series here at Bosse Field between your Washington Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Last night, Evansville taking Game 1 of this three-game series. And the trend that we saw in the Florence series did not continue here. Wild Things would take the early lead. The person who scored first in the Florence series would end up winning the game. That did not happen tonight. Wild Things took the early lead in this one. Andrew Heck walked to start things. Then Chris Grayson would single, and Ricky Rodriguez would be hit by a pitch. The bases would be loaded with nobody out in the first inning. However, the Wild Things not making much out of it. Dave Popkins, the cleanup man, would pop out for the first out of the inning. Then the next batter, Logan Uxa, hit a ground ball to first base. It was fielded, throw to second was in time. They could not get Uxa at first, and meanwhile the run would come in to score as Andrew Heck would score, and the Wild Things would take a 1-0 lead. Next batter, Kyle Pollock, would walk, and then Jimmy Yezzo grounded out to end that first inning. Evansville responded right away in the bottom half of the first inning. John Schultz lined out to start things, but then Josh Allen came through with a one-out double. There was runner at second with one man out. Then Rolando Gomez would strike out after a wild pitch, move Josh Allen to third. So now runner at third with 2 outs, and then 4 straight hits by the Evansville Otters. Chris Breen hit an RBI single. That scored Josh Allen and tied the game at 1. The next batter, Nick Baylog, singled, so there'd be runners at first and third with 2 men out. Then Christopher Rio Pedre, the first of 2 RBIs for him, as Breen would score, and the Evansville Otters would take a 2-1 lead in the first. Jeff Gardner would then single, but Dave Popkins making a nice throw to the plate, able to throw out throw out Baylog trying to score at the plate, and that would end the inning. So the Evansville Otters get 2 runs in that first inning off of Luke Wilkins. Next inning, Evansville would be back on the board once again as Colton Yamaguchi singled to start things. Then he would steal second base, and a throwing error moved him up to third with 1 man out as Ko Aliviato flew out after that. And the next batter, a wild pitch, would bring Yamaguchi in. Evansville took a 3-1 lead. John Schultz would fly out, and Josh Allen struck out, and that would end the inning. Evansville again on the board in the third, already up 3-1. Rolando Gomez would fly out to start things. Then Chris Breen and Nick Baylog back-to-back singles. There were runners at first and second with 1 man out before Christopher Rio Pedre came through, his second RBI of the day, an RBI double that scored Chris Breen, and that made the score 4-1 Evansville. Then Jeff Gardner with runners at second and third and 1 man out hit a sacrifice fly scoring Baylog, and Evansville would take a 5-1 lead after 3 innings of play. Colton Yamaguchi would ground out to end that inning. After that third inning, though, Luke Wilkins calming down, only facing 4 men in the fourth, giving up a hit to Josh Allen with 2 outs, but getting out of the inning, getting a 1-2-3 inning in the fifth, and only facing 3 men in the sixth, striking out Gardner, getting Yamaguchi to walk. And then Yamaguchi was caught stealing, and Aliviato would fly out to end that inning. Meanwhile, the opposing starter, Preston Olson, he struggled a little bit in the first, but then after that, he would calm down as well. Faced only 4 men in the second inning, 4 men in the third inning, helped out by a nice defensive play by Rolando Gomez to start the top of the third as Gomez went to a sliding stop and made the stop on the ground ball to throw Ricky Rodriguez out for the first out of that inning. Then he got a 1-2-3 inning in the fourth, and then the fifth he only faced 4 batters. And in the sixth, the Wild Things would get on the board, down 5-1. Logan Uxa came in, took the second pitch of the inning, and hit it over the right field wall, a solo home run Uxa's 6th home run of the year, his 2nd RBI of the day, and the Wild Things would then cut the deficit to 5-2. After that, Kyle Pollock struck out, Jimmy Yezzo grounded out, and Grant Fink struck out to end the inning. Starter Luke Wilkins goes 6 in this one, gives up 5 runs, all earned on 10 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. And the Wild Things bullpen on this night was very good. Ashton Parrott came in for a scoreless 1-2-3 inning 7th, and Andrew Wick a 1-2-3 8th for himself. So the bullpen setting down all 6 men it faced on the night. Wild Things in the latter half would bring the tying run to the plate in each of the last 3 innings, but unfortunately could not make anything happen from it. As in the 7th inning, it started with an Austin Wobrock ground out, then Andrew Heck would strike out, but a pass ball allowed him to reach first. Next batter, Chris Grayson would walk. There'd be runners at first and second with 1 out and the tying run at the plate. However, Ricky Rodriguez would fly out, and Dave Popkins would line out to end that inning. In the 8th, they would do it again as Logan Uxa grounded out to start things, and Kyle Pollock walked. Jimmy Yezzo flew out, and Grant Fink walked. Then Austin Wobrock came in representing the tying run, and Wobrock unfortunately struck out to end that inning. So twice the Wild Things brought the tying run to the plate. Then in the top of the 9th against closer Randy McCurry had 17 saves on the year coming into this one. Andrew Heck singled to start things, then Chris Grayson would pop out before Ricky Rodriguez singled, so there'd be runners at first and second with 1 man out, and once again the tying run coming to the plate in the form of Dave Popkins. Popkins would then fly out, and Logan Uxa came through with an RBI single. It scored Andrew Heck. It was Uxa's 3rd RBI of the day, and the Wild Things would cut the lead to 5-3 before Kyle Pollock would pop out to end the inning. And 5-3 would be the final in that one. Getting the win in that game was Preston Olson. Olson improved to 4-2. The loss went to Luke Wilkins. He went to 2-4, and the save went to Randy McCurry. So the Wild Things looking to bounce back here in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Going to take our first break here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. When we come back, we'll have our sit-down with Logan Uxa. So keep it tuned right here to the MSA Sports Network for more coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show. Currently joined by infielder Logan Uxa. And Logan, last night 3 for 5, hit the solo home run and drove in 3 of your team's runs. What was working for you at the plate last night?
I was just trying to get pitches to hit. I kind of was hopefully trying to get going here. I've been kind of just running and treading water here lately, so hopefully I can kind of build on last night and keep going here.
And you had 2 of the bigger at-bats in the game for your team, that solo home run in the 6th being the first one. Then you came in the 9th and drove in one of the 3 runs in the 9th inning. Can you talk about the different approaches in those 2 situations, the 6th inning opposed to be down by 4 instead of that 9th inning when you came in a big spot?
The 6th inning, I was just trying to get something started there. I was leading off the inning, got ahead in the count, and I was looking for a pitch that I could hit. And luckily I was able to drive it. And then the 9th inning, we were down 3, and I was just trying to extend the game. 2 outs. You're just trying to extend the game, try to get to the next guy, and I was able to do that. And unfortunately, though, we weren't able to come through there.
And no matter how much you guys are down by in that last inning, you never seem to go down without a fight, no matter what the score. What do you guys do coming into that last inning if you're down, knowing you have to fight at the plate?
We wouldn't be down there, but we had the top of the order coming up, so we knew we had a chance. So we had our big bats coming up there, and it's just all about getting to the next guy. Down 3, you can't obviously when there's nobody on, you can't hit 3-run homer to tie the game. So it's just about getting a couple of guys on and making their pitcher work. And we were able to do that a little bit last night, but we weren't able to get that big hit there at the end.
Currently joined by infielder Logan Uxa. And Logan, here at Bosse Field, you're playing on a natural grass surface as opposed to the turf fields that we see around the Frontier League a lot. What are some of the differences playing on natural grass here as opposed to being on a turf field?
The biggest thing is, there's actually bad hops. Turf fields, everything pretty much plays pretty true to what it is, and here, you get some bad hops, but actually, this field's actually pretty good. Good dirt, good grass in the infield too, so you get a lot of true hops here too.
And finally, playing in Bosse Field, the third oldest professional ballpark still in use. What's it like playing in a field with so much history? You had a league of your own filmed here, a lot of different baseball games played here. What's it like playing on a field with so much history?
Oh, it's awesome. It's really fun. This marks my. I've been able to play at Fenway, and I've been able to play here. So now, next one I need to get it to Wrigley. So hopefully one day I can do that.
Thanks, Logan. Good luck today.
Thank you.
We'll be right back here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, getting you ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Evansville Otters taking the field right now. Some news for your Washington Wild Things. Starting pitcher Trevor Foss has been picked up by the Cleveland Indians organization, who will purport to Single A. Actually will start tomorrow night's game, and if all goes well in tomorrow night's start, they're going to move him up to High A. So Trevor Foss getting promoted to affiliated ball, signed off the Washington Wild Things, currently the 5th Wild Thing in affiliated ball is Trevor Foss. We wish him the best of luck with the Cleveland Indians and hope everything works out for him. Like to thank him for his time with the Wild Things. Right now, we're going to go to the national anthem here at the ballpark, so we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with first pitch and lineups on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Otters are out on the field. They'll align like this in the outfield left to right. It's Jeff Gardner, Kale Oliviato, and Chris Breen. Left side of the infield held down by Christopher Rio Pedre and Rolando Gomez. Right side held down by Josh Allen and Nick Baylog. Behind the plate is catcher Colton Yamaguchi. On the mound for the Evansville Otters today is Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman entering this one with a record of 3-4 and a 3.87 ERA, appearing in his 14th game, making his 14th start of the season. Has thrown in 76 and 2/3 innings of work, giving up 35 runs, 33 earned on 87 hits, 20 walks, and 55 strikeouts. So Hunter Ackerman on the hill for the Evansville Otters. The lineup he'll face for your Washington Wild Things looks like this. They'll lead off with their left fielder Andrew Heck, batting second in center field. Chris Grayson hitting third and playing at third base. Ricky Rodriguez in the 4-hole in right field. Dave Hopkins batting fifth and playing at first base. Logan Uxa batting sixth and catching is Kyle Pollock. In the 7th spot, designated hitter Zach Fish batting 8th. At second base, Grant Fink. And batting 9th and playing at shortstop is Austin Walbrock. On the mound for your Washington Wild Things in this one is Sam Agnew-Wheeland. Agnew-Wheeland enters this one with a record of 2-2 and a 5.06 ERA. Hunter Ackerman finishing his warm-up tosses here, and we are just about ready for baseball with nobody out in the first inning. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Washington Wild Things are starting this game here. Andrew Heck is making his way to the plate. Heck so far on the year is currently hitting .273 with no home runs and 9 RBIs. Wild Things enter this game with a record of 32-32, looking to get back over 500 here tonight. Heck back in the leadoff spot for the ninth out of 8 games for the Wild Things. Ackerman has his sign. Here's the pitch, and Heck takes this one low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. First pitch tonight thrown at 7:37 p.m. Eastern Time, and the temperature outside, 83 degrees. First pitch time and temperature brought to you by State Line Grocery and Hotspot. The 1-0, and Heck takes this one for a strike. This one hitting the low inside corner, and the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Andrew Heck. Ackerman has his sign. He's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And Heck fouls this one off back to the screen. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Andrew Heck in that leadoff spot out in left field. Really is putting a stronghold on that left field position here in this one as he's up there at the leadoff spot tonight. Ackerman looks in, has his sign. He's set. And the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. His time is called behind the plate. So we'll have to wait for this next 1-2 pitch. Nobody out here in the top of the first. No score between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Ackerman has his sign. The 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one swung on a miss by Andrew Heck. He strikes out. That's out number 1 here in the top of the first. 1 up, 1 down for your Washington Wild Things. And that brings to the plate the the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far on the year is hitting 301 with 2 home runs and 9 RBIs. 1 man out here in the top of the first. Just underway here in Game 2 of this 3-game series at Bosse Field. Chris Grayson, the number 2 hitter, facing off against Ackerman. Ackerman has his sign. Here's the pitch, and Grayson grounds this one to the right side. Handed over there by Baylog. Flipped to Ackerman covering, and a foot race to the bag. Ackerman beats Grayson, and that is the second out. So 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in the first, and that brings to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez, with 2 outs. Rodriguez so far in the year, 302, 5 home runs, and 22 RBIs. Currently leads the team with that 302 batting average. Currently sits in 4th with the 5 home runs, and 3rd with his 22 RBIs. 2 men out, no score here from Bosse Field between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Ackerman looking in. Here's the pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Coaching on the base paths for your Washington Wild Things, manager Greg Langben over at third, and hitting coach Mike Marshall stands at first. Here's Ackerman's 1 ball, no strike pitch, and that one's in there for a strike this time. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Hunter Ackerman on the hill for the Evansville Otters. For Ackerman, it's currently his 3rd season with the Evansville Otters. Here in 2016, the 1-1, this one's hit to center field. Oliviato going back on it a couple of steps, and he'll make the catch, and that is out number 3. 1-2-3 go your Wild Things here in the first, and after half an inning of play, the score. Your Washington Wild Things nothing, and the Evansville Otters coming to bat. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the first, and the score. The Evansville Otters coming to bat, and your Washington Wild Things, nothing. Wild Things aligned defensively like this in the outfield left to right. It's Andrew Heck, Chris Grayson, and Dave Popkins, left side of the infield, held down by Ricky Rodriguez and Austin Wobrock. Right side by Grant Fink and Logan Uxa. Behind the plate, Kyle Pollock. Catching night starter Sam Agnew-Wheeland. Agnew-Wheeland entering this one with a record of 2-2 and a 5.06 ERA. Appearing in his 10th game, making his 4th start of the season, has thrown 26 2/3 innings of work, giving up 15 runs, all earned on 32 hits, 12 walks, and 15 strikeouts on the year for Agnew-Wheeland. The lineup he'll face for the Evansville Otters looks like this. They'll lead off with their shortstop, Rolando Gomez. Hitting second at second base, Josh Allen. In the 3 spot at third, Christopher Rio Pedre. Batting fourth at first base, Nick Baylog. In the 5 spot in right field, Chris Breen. Batting sixth in left field, Jeff Gardner. Hitting seventh, designated hitter Denzel Richardson. Batting eighth behind the plate, Colton Yamaguchi. And batting ninth in center field is K.O. Aliviato. On the mound for the Evansville Otters, as you saw, was Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman 3-4 with a 3.87 ERA. Making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the bottom of the first is Rolando Gomez. Gomez so far on the year for Evansville is hitting .299 with 4 home runs and 23 RBIs. So Sam Agnew-Wheeland start pushed up because Trevor Foss was signed by the Cleveland Indians. Foss was supposed to start tonight, and Agnew-Wheeland gets the nod with Foss's departure. The pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 count here on Rolando Gomez. Sam Agnew-Wheeland making his start, probably inserted into the rotation now with Foss gone, as the Wild Things only have 3 starters on their roster. This one bunted by Rolando Gomez, but it'll go foul, and the count goes 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Rolando Gomez, the shortstop for the Evansville Otters. Was there last night as well. Has played all 5 games between these two teams at the shortstop position. Sam Agnew-Wheeland looking in. Wheeland has his sign. He's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike offering. And that one swung on and foul, tipped into the glove of Kyle Pollock. 1 ball and 2 strikes. For Agnew-Wheeland, the key for him is going to be to pound the strike zone. It's when he starts to nitpick that he can get into trouble. So he'll be looking to keep the ball in the zone, keep it low, and trust his fielders. The 1-2, and this one chopped towards second. Grant Fink will handle it. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Otters here in the bottom of the first, and that brings to the plate the second baseman, Josh Allen. Allen so far on the year is hitting .360 with 7 home runs and 30 RBIs at .360 average, leading the Evansville Otters by a sizable margin. The next closest is Nick Baylog hitting .321. So Josh Allen at the plate, 1 man out, bottom of the first, no score between the Evansville Otters and your Wild Things. Agnew-Wheeland's pitch, and that one's in there for a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Josh Allen, 1 man out, bottom of the first from Bossy Field in Evansville, Indiana. Agnew-Wheeland has his sign, the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And this one hit the left field. Andrew Heck going back on it to the track, to the wall, and this ball is gone. A solo home run by Josh Allen, and Evansville jumps out to the early lead here in Game 2. They lead this one 1-0 over your Washington Wild Things. For Allen, it's his 8th home run of the year, and it is 1-0 Evansville here in the bottom of the first. A mistake pitch there by Agnew-Wheeland, left it down the middle of the plate, and Josh Allen took advantage, hitting it out and over that left field wall. So Evansville jumping on the early lead now, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Christopher Rio Pedre. Rio Pedre so far in the year hitting .312, 2 home runs, and 26 RBIs. Josh Allen's 8th home run of the season leads the team in that category. As stepping in now, Rio Pedre. Here's the pitch from Agnew-Wheeland, and that one's fouled back to the screen. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Agnew-Wheeland coming off his worst start of the season against the Southern Illinois Miners, where he went 5 innings, gave up 6 runs. Agnew-Wheeland has his sign. Here's the no ball, 1 strike pitch. Check swing there by Rio Pedre, but he's able to hold up in time, and the count goes even to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here in the bottom of the first. 1-0 the Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Agnew Whelan's 1-1, and this one's fouled back to the screen as well, so the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, one man out here in the bottom of the first. Agnew Whelan has been in the zone for these first couple batters, but accidentally left a mistake pitch over the middle of the plate, and Josh Allen took advantage of it. Agnew Whelan looks in, has his sign, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one's low for a ball. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Rio Pedre. One man out bottom of the first. Agnew Whelan got the first out of the inning after getting Gomez to ground out, but then gave up that solo home run to Josh Allen. Agnew Whelan set. Here's the offering, and this one hit towards second right at Grant Fink, and he'll make the catch. That's out number 2. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, and that brings to the plate the first baseman, Nick Baylog. Baylog so far on the year is hitting .321, 4 home runs, and 34 RBIs. Baylog was hitting in the number 5 position last night. Today, hitting up in the cleanup spot for the Evansville Otters. Sam Agnew Whelan looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And this one popped foul off to the left, back behind the seats. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the number 4 hitter for the Evansville Otters, Nick Baylog. 2 outs, bottom of the first, 1-0 Evansville leads. Agnew Whelan has his sign. Here's the pitch, and that one swung on and missed, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on Nick Baylog. Agnew Whelan trying to get out of this first inning, just allowing that 1 run, and if he can do that, still be a very good first inning for him. Has his sign, the 0-2, and this one grounded foul off to the right, so the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count, 2 men out here in the bottom of the first. Evansville jumps out to the early lead in this one, as they lead on the solo home run by Josh Allen. Sam Agnew Whelan looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-2 pitch. And that one's inside as Baylog having to jump out of the way of that one, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Agnew Whelan tried to get him with a slider, but Baylog wisely laying off there as he will stay alive. Agnew Whelan set the 1-2 pitch, and that one's just outside, as just missing that outside part of the plate is Agnew Whelan, and the count's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count with 2 men out in the bottom of the first. Agnew Whelan looking in. Here's the 2-ball, 2-strike pitch. And this one hit down the right field line, but this one will hook and go into the seats foul. So the count will remain 2-2. Baylog got a good piece of that baseball, but unfortunately for him, it went foul down the line. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 men out here in the bottom half of the first, with Evansville leading by the score of 1-0. Here's Agnew Whelan's 2-2, and this one grounded back over the mound. Austin Wobrock charging. He'll have it. Throw to first, and that's in time for out number 3. However, the Otters do get a run in the inning on the solo home run by Josh Allen. No errors and nobody left on base. After 1 inning of play, the score, the Evansville Otters 1, your Washington Wild Things 0. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School, lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the second, and the score, the Evansville Otters 1 and your Washington Wild Things 0. Wild Things going 1-2-3 in the top half of the first. Andrew Heck struck out to lead things off. Then Chris Grayson would ground out, and Ricky Rodriguez flew out to end the inning. Go up here in the second, Dave Popkins, Logan Uxa, and Kyle Pollock, 4, 5, and 6, facing off against Hunter Ackerman. as Dave Popkins making his way to the plate right now. Popkins on the year, 290 with 10 home runs and 35 RBIs, leads the Wild Things in both categories. Switch hitter batting from the right side tonight against the left-hander Hunter Ackerman. Meeting on the mound by Ackerman and Yamaguchi. That meeting is concluded, and now Popkins stepping in to the plate. Popkins trying to get the Wild Things on the board here early. Ackerman looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Popkins takes this one for a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things right fielder. Batting in the leadoff spot, Ackerman has his sign, the no ball, one strike pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Popkins was up with the bases loaded and nobody out yesterday and popped out, trying to start off the inning here tonight. The 1-1, and that one swung on and missed by Dave Popkins. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Talking to Dave Popkins earlier in the year, a guy who likes to wait in the count and get a pitch he can drive. That's why he strikes out and walks as much as he does. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and this one grounded towards the middle. Rio Pedre, a diving stop. It's off his glove into center field for a base hit. Rio Pedre giving it all he got there, but he was unable to get it as it goes into center field, and the Wild Things have the leadoff man on here in the top of the second. That'll bring up the first baseman, Logan Uxa. Uxa so far on the year is hitting .270 with 6 home runs and 19 RBIs. Stepping up with a runner at first and nobody out. Dave Popkins, the leadoff single, as the Wild Things get that leadoff man on here, see if they can bring him around and tie this ball game. Ackerman checks runner at first, has his sign, and the pitch on the way. And Uxa takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Wild Things first baseman. Nobody out top of the second. The Evansville Otters taking the lead in the first inning. Wild Things trying to respond here in inning number 2. Ackerman has his sign and the 1 ball, no strike pitch. And this one swung on and fouled, or ground to the right, handled by Baylog in fair territory. His throw to second. Now they're going to call it foul, as Baylog was towing the line there between the foul line and fair territory. Handles the ball in foul territory, and will have to do it again as the count now goes to 1 ball, 1 strike on Logan Uxa. 1-1 the count, nobody out. Left-hander Hunter Ackerman on the hill. Ackerman, as we said, in his 3rd season with the Evansville Otters. Last year for Evansville went 0-3 with a .376 ERA, and in 2014 ended up going 2-0 with a .168 ERA. Ackerman has his sign. He's set in the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And Uxa takes this one for a called strike on the outside corner. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 on Logan Uxa, your Washington Wild Things star of the game last night, as he went 3 for 5 with driving in all 3 of his team's runs. Ackerman looks in, has his sign, checks the runner at first, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And a called strike 3. Logan Uxa strikes out, and that's out number 1 here in inning number 2. So 1 out and a runner at first, and that'll bring up the catcher, Kyle Pollock. Pollock so far on the year is hitting .247 with 1 home run and 9 RBIs. The number 6 hitter in the order has been moved up to that 6th spot. Was hitting number 8 when he first got back in this Wild Things lineup. Now in there at the 6th spot here tonight. Hunter Ackerman looking in. Ackerman has his sign, checks the runner at first, and the pitch on the way to Pollock. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Washington Wild Things catcher. Pollock is starting his 5th straight game behind the plate here tonight. Steve Solkoski gave him a break in Florence, and Game 2 of that series came in as defensive replacement. The 0-1, Pollock checks his swing, and did he go around? Yes, says the field umpire Drew Ashcraft, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Umpires for tonight's game, Drew Ashcraft out in the field, and is Steve Bartelstein behind the plate. So just a flip-flop of last night's umpires. Hunter Ackerman looking in. Ackerman has his sign, checks the runner at first, and the pitch on the way. And that one's outside for a ball as Kyle Pollock wisely laying off. That one was towards the left-handed batter's box, about the middle part of that left-handed batter's box, as Pollock wisely laying off. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Ackerman has his sign, checks the runner at first, and the 1-2 pitch. And Pollock, a swing and a miss. He strikes out. So after that leadoff single, Ackerman back-to-back strikeouts here in the second. And there are 2 outs and a runner at first for the designated hitter, Zach Fish. Fish playing in his third game with the Wild Things, has no average, no home runs, no RBIs. He is 0 for 6 to start out his Wild Things career. 2 men out here in the top of the second. 1-0 Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things in this one. Hunter Ackerman on the mound for Evansville. Looking in, has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. And Uxa takes this one for a strike on the inside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Zach Fish, the designated hitter. Dave Popkins, the runner at first, with 2 men out. Popkins singled the lead off this inning. Ackerman looks into Yamaguchi. Has his sign, he's set, checks Popkins at first, and the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And Fish fouls this one back to the screen. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Zach Fish came to the Wild Things from the Chicago White Sox organization. Was initially signed as a backup catcher for the Wild Things, but he has been more converted to a DH and an outfielder role. Talking to manager Greg Langman about his duties on the team. More of an outfielder and a designated hitter type of guy. No balls and 2 strikes here on Zach Fish with 2 outs in the top of the second. Hunter Ackerman looking in. Ackerman to Yamaguchi, has his sign, he's set. Checks Popkins at first in the no ball, 2 strike offering. And Fish a ground ball to the left side. Rio Pedre a backhand, throw to first, and that's in time for out number 3. So no runs in the inning for your Wild Things on just 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 1.5, the score, Evansville Otters 1, and your Washington Wild Things nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the second, and the score, the Evansville Otters 1, and your Washington Wild Things nothing. Sam Agnew-Whelan out there on the mound, the starter for tonight's game for your Washington Wild Things. Last inning, Rolando Gomez would ground out to start things. Then Josh Allen hit a solo home run. Evansville took a 1-0 lead in this ball game before Christopher Rio Pedre lined out and Nick Baylog grounded out to end the inning. Due up here in the second, Chris Breen, Jeff Gardner, and Denzel Richardson, 5, 6, and 7, facing off against Sam Agnew-Whelan. August 5th and 6th, your Wild Things will be in River City to take on the River City Rascals if you're looking for something to do. Waynesburg University is putting on their production of The Curious Savage August 5th and 6th at 7:30 p.m. in the Goodwin Performing Arts Center. Go down to Waynesburg University, $5 admission for that play. It's a very great show. Hung out with the cast for a little bit. They're working very hard on it, and they're very excited to put it together for you. Curious Savage at Waynesburg University in the G-Pack August 5th and 6th at 7:30 p.m. Making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the second is Chris Breen, the right fielder. Breen, so far on the year, is hitting .261, 6 homers, and 31 RBIs. First pitch, and he takes it on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on Chris Breen. Breen and Baylog flip-flopped from last night. Breen was hitting in the cleanout spot, Baylog in the 5th spot. Tonight it's changed up the middle, and that's a base hit. Chris Breen starts off the second with a leadoff single, blistered that ball up the middle, and there's a runner at first with nobody out for Evansville here in the bottom of the second. Sam Agnew-Whelan retiring the first man in the first inning. Now here in the second, giving up that leadoff single. That'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Jeff Gardner. Gardner so far on the year hitting .220 with 1 home run and 8 RBIs. So Jeff Gardner coming to the plate, facing off against Sam Agnew-Whelan. Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Sam Agnew-Whelan looking into Yamaguchi. Agnew-Whelan has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at first, and the pitch on the way. And that one swung on a miss there by Gardner, and the count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here. Jeff Gardner was the designated hitter for the Evansville Otters in last night's game out there in left field here tonight, giving John Schultz a night off for Evansville. Runner at first, Chris Breen, after his leadoff single. Breen over there as Agnew Whelan has his sign, checks Breen at first, and the no ball, 1-strike pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike for Breen at first base. Currently has 1 steal in 54 games played, so not much of a base stealer over there is Chris Breen. So Agnew Whelan just going to keep an eye on him, not really have to throw over there. Agnew Whelan's 1-1, and that one swung on and missed by Gardner, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, nobody out, bottom of the second. 2 hits on the day for the Evansville Otters, one being that solo home run by Josh Allen, and now the single by Chris Breen are the 2 hits on the day. Agnew Whelan looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike offering. Throw to first, and Chris Breen gets back in there. We told you Breen on the year, 1 stolen base in 54 games played. So just a courtesy throw over there, making sure he knows that we're still paying attention to him. Agnew Whelan has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike offering. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count here. Nobody out. Bottom of the second. 1-0 Evansville leads over your Washington Wild Things. Sam Agnew Whelan looks in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one grounded foul off to the right back towards the stands. And it'll hit off the stands foul. So the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 with nobody out, bottom of the second. Game 2 of the 3-game series here. You're listening to the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. For Sam Agnew Whelan, his first year with the Wild Things, started the year on the suspended list as he was dealing with college classes, reported late to camp because of college classes, and was activated 2 weeks into the season. The 2-2, and that one's fouled off as well. Count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Agnew Whelan did pitch an affiliated ball, pitched for the short A Staten Island Yankees, but of the New York Yankees organization. Also pitched for the Joplin Blasters of the American Association before joining the Wild Things this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Nobody out, bottom of the second. Jeff Gardner at the plate for the Otters. Agnew Whelan has his sign, checks first, and the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this ball fouled off back behind the stadium. So again, the count remains 2-2. 3 straight foul balls here by Jeff Gardner in this one, as he's trying to stay alive here against Sam Agnew Whelan, making Agnew Whelan throw a lot of pitches here in this second inning. Agnew Whelan looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball, 2 strike offering. This one lined in right field, and that's a base hit. Back-to-back singles here to start this second inning. There's runners at first and second with nobody out, and that brings up the designated hitter, Denzel Richardson. Richardson so far in the year is hitting .260 with 3 home runs and 14 RBIs. Richardson did not play in last night's ball game as Jeff Gardner was the DH and John Schultz was out in left field. So nobody out. Runners at first and second. Agnew Whelan in a jam here in this second inning. Agnew Whelan looks into Kyle Pollock. Has his sign. He's set. Checks the runner at second. And the pitch on the way. And Richardson hits this one to right field. Popkins a couple of steps in, and he'll make the catch. That's out number 2. Breen tags and heads to third. Here's Popkins' throw, and it's not in time. So Denzel Richardson flies out for the first out of the inning. Chris Breen moves up to third. Now there's runners at first and third with 1 man out, and that brings to the plate the catcher, Colton Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi so far on the year hitting .209, no home runs, and 6 RBIs. Back in that number 8 spot in the order for Evansville. The only catcher listed on the Evansville Otters roster is they have 2 catchers on the disabled list, Dane Phillips and Julio Rodriguez, each on the DL. So Colton Yamaguchi, the only catcher on this Evansville roster. Sam Agnew Whelan looking in, has his sign, checks the runner at third, and the pitch on the way. And Yamaguchi takes this one inside and low. Pollock blocks it behind the plate, and the count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0, 1 man out here in the bottom of the second. 1-0 Evansville leads over your Washington Wild Things. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Wild Things trying to even things up tonight here at Bosse Field. Agnew Whelan has his sign. He's set, checks the runner at third, and the 1-0. And that one's inside as well, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 here on Colton Yamaguchi, the catcher for the Evansville Otters. Had some trouble late in the game last night with a couple of pass balls. Allowed some Wild Things to reach late in the game. The 2-0, and this one line foul over by the Wild Things dugout. Watch out over there. And the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. The dugouts here at Bosse Field, a little bit cramped and right in the line of fire for foul ball, so it's always something you got to be watching out for if you're in the dugout or if you're on deck. You're right in the line for the foul ball, so you got to check yourself as the pitch is coming in. Agnew Whelan's 2-1, and that one will hit off the elbow guard of Colton Yamaguchi. So Yamaguchi hit by a pitch, and the bases are full of Evansville Otters here with one man out. Agnew Whelan in a jam. Moving up to second, Jeff Gardner, the runner at third, Chris Breen, and now over at first, Colton Yamaguchi for the number 9 hitter, Ko Aliviato. Aliviato on the year, currently hitting .244 with 3 home runs and 22 RBIs. Well, Sam Agnew Whelan in a little bit of trouble here in the second inning. Bases are full of Evansville Otters with one man out. If you can get a ground ball, that would be ideal. The defensive positioning for your Wild Things, Ricky Rodriguez and Logan Uxa in on the grass, and the middle infielders at double play depth. And as an infielder, you got to know where you're going with the ball in this situation. You're going to want to try to get a double play if you can get it on the ground. Agnew Whelan looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch to Aliviato. And that one's in there at the knees for a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Evansville Otters center fielder. Big situation early in the game. Bases loaded, one man out for the Evansville Otters in the bottom of the second. They lead this 1-1. Agnew Whelan has his sign, he's set, and the no ball, one strike pitch. And this ball popped up. Foul territory off to the left. Rodriguez giving chase, and he's going to watch this one go back into the stands foul. So the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count, now up 0-2. You're more concerned about getting the strikeout here, getting the sure out, and making them get a base hit with 2 outs and the bases loaded. So you'd like a strikeout, still take a ground ball. We'll see what Agnew Whelan gets here. He's looking into Pollock, has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at third, and the no ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one, ground ball to the right side, that'll get through for a base hit. Chris Breen comes around to score, and everyone will go station to station as the bases remain loaded. A RBI single for Ko Aliviato, and the Evansville Otters now lead this one 2-0 over your Washington Wild Things. Well, Agnew Whelan got the ground ball he wanted, but unfortunately, it was not hit to anybody. Hit perfectly placed through that right side of the infield. Bases remain loaded with 1 out. It's 2-0 Evansville, and that'll bring to the plate Rolando Gomez. Gomez so far on the day is 0 for 1 with a ground out in this one, and last night for Rolando Gomez, he would end up going 0 for 4 with a strikeout, a flyout, a lineout, and a ground out. Agnew Whelan has his sign, the pitch, and this ball popped up. Shallow center field. Austin Welbrock going out behind second. Now being called off by Grayson. Grayson makes the catch, and nobody will be able to move as it was a very shallow fly ball. That is the second out of the inning. Everyone stays where they are, so the bases remain loaded with 2 men out, and that'll bring to the plate the second baseman, Josh Allen. Allen got the first run of the game in for the Evansville Otters. Hit his 8th home run of the season back in inning number 1. In last night's game, Josh Allen ended up going 2 for 4, a double, a single, also struck out and flew out in the contest. 2 men out here in the bottom of the second. 2-0 Evansville leads over your Washington Wild Things. Agnew Whelan looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Want to know the count here on Josh Allen with 2 men out in the bottom of the second. A run in on the RBI single by Ko Aliviato. Runners on base at third, Jeff Gardner. Second, Colton Yamaguchi. And Aliviato stands at first. The 1-0, and that one's in the dirt, blocked by Pollock, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count, 2 men out. There is action in the Wild Things bullpen early on in this ball game, as it's Brian O'Keefe warming up out there. Sam Agnew Whelan looking in, has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at third, and the 2-0. That one swung on and missed there by Josh Allen. The count goes to 2 balls and a strike. Last time Allen was at the plate, Agnew Whelan pitched him pretty well, but left a mistake pitch over the middle of the plate, and Allen took advantage of it. It was his 8th home run of the year, leads the team in that category. Agnew Whelan has his sign, he's set, the 2 ball, 1 strike pitch. And this one's fouled back to the screen, so the count will go even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 2 men out, bottom of the second. The Evansville Otters lead 2-0 over your Washington Wild Things. Agnew Whelan, the right-hander on the mound for the Wild Things, facing off against Josh Allen. Agnew Whelan looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And a called strike 3. Josh Allen strikes out, and the inning is over. Evansville just gets 1 run in the inning on 3 hits, no errors, and 3 men left on base. After 2 innings of play, the score, the Evansville Otters 2, and your Washington Wild Things nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the third, and the score, Evansville Otters 2, and your Washington Wild Things nothing. Last inning for the Washington Wild Things, Dave Popkins singled to start things, then Logan Uxa struck out looking, Kyle Pollock struck out swinging, and Zach Fish grounded out to end the inning. Due up here in the third, Grant Fink, Austin Wobrock, and Andrew Heck, 8, 9, and 1, facing off against Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman so far so good. Through 2 innings of work, has faced 7 batters and just given up 1 hit in the contest. Last time out for Ackerman, he was at Joliet on July the 27th. Only went 3 innings in that ball game. Gave up 5 runs, 4 earned on 7 hits, 3 walks, and no strikeouts, and what would end up being a loss. It would drop his record to 3-4 on the season. So looking to rebound against the Washington Wild Things here tonight. So far has been so good. The only hit he's given up is that Dave Popkins single. Due up to face him here in the third, Grant Fink, Austin Wobrock, and Andrew Heck, 8, 9, and 1, facing off against Hunter Ackerman, the left-hander for the Evansville Otters on the mound today, facing off against Agnew Whelan. The news out of the Washington Wild Things team today, Trevor Foss had his contract purchased from the Cleveland Indians. He is headed to their single-A organization, the Lake County Captains, and he is actually scheduled to start tomorrow night's game. And depending on how that start goes, they can move him up to high A ball. He's in short season A right now, so congratulations to Trevor Foss. I'd like to thank him for his time with the Washington Wild Things. Was 8-3 with the Wild Things, a .250 ERA, had 8 complete games on the year, was 1 shy of the Frontier League record, and now on to affiliated ball, see if he can continue that success at that level. Coming to the plate to lead things off here in the third, Grant Fink. Fink so far on the year is hitting .191, 6 home runs, and 5 RBIs on the season. Wild Things trying to get on the board here in the third. Down 2 to the Evansville Otters. Otters lead 2-0. Ackerman looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Fink takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things second baseman. Nobody out top of the third. Ackerman has his sign and the no-ball, 1-strike pitch. And a swing and a miss there by Fink, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Here in the top of the third, Grant Fink trying to get on base to lead things off. Fink his second straight game at second base. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Fink grounds this one to short. Gomez charging. He has it. Throws to first. And that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the third. And that brings to the plate their number 9 hitter, Austin Wobrock. Wobrock so far on the year, .199, 1 home run, and 14 RBIs. 1 man out top of the third. 2-0. The Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Dave Popkins, the only hit in this one so far. A single in the second inning, facing off against Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman looks in, has his sign, the pitch on the way. And Wobrock takes this one for a strike on the outside corner, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things shortstop. 1 man out top of the third. Ackerman has his sign and the no ball, 1-strike pitch. And a swing and a miss there by Wobrock, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Ackerman through 2 1/3 has 3 strikeouts already on the day, facing off against your Wild Things. Ackerman has his sign, the no ball, 2-strike pitch, and this one grounded to the left side. Rolando Gomez handles it. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things in the top of the third, and that brings to the plate the left fielder Andrew Heck. Heck so far 0 for 1, struck out in inning number 1. Last night's game, Heck pretty good night, 1 for 3 with a single, also struck out, walked twice, and grounded out in the ball game. 2 men out top of the third, 2-0 the Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Hunter Ackerman on the mound, 2 2/3 so far, just allowing the 1 hit. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And that one's inside for a ball and low. 1 ball, no strikes, the count on Heck. 1-0 the count. Andrew Heck has been a mainstay in left field over the last week and a half, is trying to take over that position. The 1 ball, no strike pitch, and this ball popped up. Shallow right field. Going out is the second baseman Allen. Coming in and making the catch is Chris Breen, and the side is retired. 1-2-3 go your Wild Things here in the third, and after 2.5, the score. The Evansville Otters 2, and your Washington Wild Things nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the third, and the score, the Evansville Otters 2, and your Washington Wild Things nothing. Sam Agnew-Whelan limiting the damage last inning as Chris Breen singled off him to start things, then Jeff Gardner would single. Denzel Richardson would fly out for the first out of the innings. There were runners at first and third with one out before Colton Yamaguchi was hit by a pitch that would load the bases with one out. The next batter, K.O. Aliviato, came through with an RBI single. Chris Breen would come in to score, and the Otters would take a 2-0 lead over your Wild Things. Then Rolando Gomez would fly out, and Josh Allen would strike out to end the inning. Due up here in the third, Christopher Rio Pedre, Nick Baylog, and Chris Breen. 3, 4, and 5 facing off against Sam Agnew-Whelan. Now Agnew-Whelan coming off his worst start of the season for the Washington Wild Things. His last start was on July the 23rd at Southern Illinois. Went 5 innings in that one. Gave up 6 runs, all earned on 6 hits, 5 walks, and 3 strikeouts. His last outing in total, he only went a third and gave up 3 runs on 3 hits, no walks, no strikeouts against the normal Corn Belters. So far today, 2 runs allowed through 2 innings of work. As stepping in to lead things off against him, here's the third baseman, Christopher Rio Pedre. Rio Pedre so far on the day is 0 for 1, and last night went 0 for 4. Here's the pitch, and this one hit the center field. Chris Grayson a step back, and now he'll make the catch. That is out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 away here in the bottom of the third for Agnew-Whelan. That's what you want to see out of the mound. Agnew-Whelan pounding the strike zone. None of the hits he's given up today have really been hard contacts, just a lot of bad luck ground balls that have found holes here on the infield, and unfortunately for him have led to 2 runs. The one mistake pitch was the solo home run by Josh Allen. Agnew-Whelan looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. Baylog bunts this one in the shift. Agnew-Whelan coming off the mound, fields it, throw to first, and that's in time for out number 2. So Nick Baylog trying to beat the shift, but quick thinking there by Agnew-Whelan, getting off the mound, fielding that ball, and firing to first for the second out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down for the Evansville Otters here in the third, and that brings on the right fielder, Chris Breen. Breen so far 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored in the second inning. Chris Breen in last night's game was 2 for 4 with an RBI single, also a regular single, and 2 strikeouts on the day. 2 men out here in the bottom of the third. 2-0 Evansville leads over your Washington Wild Things. Sam Agnew-Whelan on the mound facing off against Chris Breen. Righty on righty matchup. Agnew-Whelan has his sign and the pitch. And that one's just inside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Got the first 2 outs via only 1 pitch as Christopher Rio Pedre flew out on 1 pitch, and then the bunt out by Nick Baylog. Here's the 1 ball, no strike offering, and that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes here on Chris Breen. 2 men out, bottom of the third. 2-0 Evansville leads over your Wild Things here at Bosse Field, the third oldest park in professional baseball. The 2-0, and that one's at the knees for a strike. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count here on Chris Breen, the number 5 hitter in the order for the Evansville Otters. Breen was in the game last night, back out in right field today. Here's the 2-1, and that one's low for a ball. Count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1, 2 men out, 2-0 Evansville leads. Sam Agnew-Whelan looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 3-1 pitch. And that one's low, ball 4. So a 2-out walk here to Chris Breen as a man on base for the Otters, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Jeff Gardner. Gardner so far 1 for 1, and in last night's game as a designated hitter, ended up going 1 for 2. Single in the first, sac fly, and a strikeout in that ball game. 2 men out, runner on base for the Evansville Otters as Chris Breen reaches base for the second time in this ball game. 2-0 Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things here in Game 2 of this 3-game series. As Gardner makes his way to the plate out in left field today, was a designated hitter in last night's ball game for the Otters and was batting down in the number 7 hole today up at the 6th spot in front of Denzel Richardson. Agnew Whelan has his sign, checks Breen at first, and the pitch on the way. And a check swing there, but he went around, says home plate umpire Steve Bartelstein, and the count goes to no balls and 1 strike. Gardner didn't want to swing at that pitch, but by the time he went to stop the swing, his body was already turned too much, and it forced the bat to go around. So no balls and 1 strike. Agnew Whelan looks into Kyle Pollock. Righty on lefty matchup. Agnew Whelan has his sign, he's set, and the no ball 1 strike offering. And that one's in there on the outside corner for a strike. Count goes to 0-2. Agnew Whelan quickly ahead of Jeff Gardner. No balls and 2 strikes here for Agnew Whelan coming into this one. Currently has 15 strikeouts in 26 and 2/3 innings of work. So not a high strikeout guy, but gets them occasionally. Throw over to first, and Chris Green gets back in there. No balls, 2 strikes, the count on Jeff Gardner. 2 men out, bottom of the 3rd, 2-0. Evansville leads over your Washington Wild Things here in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Sam Agnew Whelan looking in. Agnew Whelan has his sign. He's set. Checks the runner at first, and the 0-2 pitch. And that one's high and outside, and will get away from Kyle Pollock. Hits off his glove, and moving up to second base there is Chris Breen. Wild pitch on Sam Agnew Whelan. So there's a runner at second now with 2 men out, and a 1-2 count on Jeff Gardner. Kyle Pollock did all he could to try to catch that ball in his glove, but he could not. It hit off the tip of his glove and went back to the wall for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Agnew Whelan looking in, has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at second, and the 1-2 offering. And a swing and a miss there. Jeff Gardner strikes out, and that will end the inning. No runs in the inning for the Evansville Otters. No hits, no errors, and 1 man left on after the walk. After 3 innings of play, the score, the Evansville Otters 2 and your Washington Wild Things nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 4th, and the score, the Evansville Otters 2 and your Washington Wild Things nothing. Last inning for the Evansville Otters, Christopher Rio Pedre would fly out, last inning for the Wild Things. In the third, they go 1-2-3. Grant Fink grounded out to start things. Then Austin Wolbrock would ground out, and Andrew Heck flew out to end that 3rd inning. Due up here in the 4th, Chris Grayson, Ricky Rodriguez, and Dave Popkins, 2, 3, and 4 against Hunter Ackerman. And Ackerman has been very good on the mound for the Evansville Otters. The left-hander retired the Wild Things 1-2-3 in the first, gave up a hit in the second. The only hit of the day was to Dave Popkins, a leadoff single, then retired that side, and then 1-2-3 in the third. So just 1 hit through 3 innings of work. Wild Things have not looked comfortable at all at the plate. So we'll see what they do as they enter the second time through the order. Grayson, Rodriguez, and Popkins due up. Next MSA Sports Network broadcast tomorrow night, 7:35 p.m. first pitch for Game 3 of this 3-game series between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. On the mound for your Wild Things will be Chase Cunningham. Evansville has not yet named their starter for tomorrow night's game. So Cunningham on the mound for your Wild Things tomorrow. And stepping in to lead things off here in the 4th is the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far 0 for 1 in this ball game. And last night for the Wild Things ended up going 1 for 3 with a single, a strikeout, a pop-out, 2 walks, and a stolen base in the ball game. Nobody out top of the 4th. 2-0. The Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Chris Grayson batting from the left-handed side against the left-hander Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. And that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here in the top of the fourth. Nobody out. Wild Things trying to get on the board here. Only have one hit in this ball game. Got to get guys on base and see if they can score. Here's the 0-1 from Ackerman. And Grayson takes this one low for a ball. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Nobody out, top of the fourth. 2-0 Evansville leads. Hunter Ackerman looks in, has his sign, and the 1 ball, 1 strike offering. As time is called, as they want to go through the signs again. For the Wild Things, again, they just have not looked comfortable at the plate tonight against Hunter Ackerman. Has been getting them to chase some bad pitches, has been blowing pitches by him. The 1-1, and that one's fouled off towards the Evansville dugout, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. See if the second time through the order for the Wild Things makes them look any more comfortable at the plate. Nobody out. Bossy Field here in Evansville, Indiana. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Ackerman looks in, has his sign, the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one fouled off by Grayson as well, so staying alive, fighting off a tough pitch there. And the count remains 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and nobody out, top of the fourth. Ackerman looks in. Grayson's fought off a couple of tough pitches to stay alive. His 1-2 pitch on the way. And Grayson pops this one up. Shallow center field. Coming in as a Leviato. He'll call everyone off, and he makes the catch. That's out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the fourth as Grayson flies out. And that brings to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 0 for 1 in this ball game, and last night Rodriguez would end up going 1 for 4 with a single, grounded out twice, flew out, and was hit by a pitch in the ball game. 1 man out, top of the fourth, 2-0. Evansville leads over your Washington Wild Things here in this one. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Rodriguez fouls this one off, chips piece of his bat as it goes flying down the left side. Now he has half a barrel, so he's going to have to go get another bat. You saw that one fly off the bat and go down the foul territory on the left side. Hunter Ackerman coming off the mound to retrieve that broken piece of bat. So no balls and a strike the count on Ricky Rodriguez. He'll get a new one here and step back in with an 0-1 count, 1 man out. Wild Things lost the first game of this 3-game series by a score of 5-3. Almost came back in the game last night as they scored a run in the 9th inning off Randy McCurry, but that was all they would get as they would end up losing by the score of 5-3. Logan Uxa drove in all 3 runs in yesterday's ball game. Hunter Ackerman looks in. Ackerman has his sign, the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 man out, top of the fourth. Rodriguez, one of 4 All-Stars for your Washington Wild Things on this year's 2016 All-Star team. The 1 ball, 1 strike pitch, and this ball hit the right field. Going back on it is Chris Breen towards the track. He dives, and he's not going to make the catch. It's off the wall. Rodriguez around first, heading to second. Rodriguez thinking 3. Here comes the throw, and there will be no throw as Rodriguez is in there with a 1-out triple. Rodriguez sparking hopefully a rally here as Breen out there in right field giving it all he could, made a diving attempt. It was off the tip of his glove, hit off the wall, and Rodriguez in there at third with a triple and 1 man out, and that brings to the plate the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far 1 for 1, singled in the 2nd inning. So Rodriguez at third after that 1-out triple. Wild Things trying to get on the board here in the 4th inning. 2-0 Evansville leads to this point. Hunter Ackerman facing off against the switch hitting Dave Popkins. Popkins hitting from the right-hand side against Ackerman. And right now Ackerman going to step off as he wants to go through the signs again. Runner at third, 1 man out for the Wild Things. Ackerman has his sign. He's set. Checks Rodriguez over there. And the pitch on the way to Dave Popkins. And a swing and a miss there by Popkins. And the count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things right fielder. Was 0 for 5 in last night's game, trying to pick back up his offense here today and get that first run of the game in for the Wild Things. Ackerman looks in, checks third, has his sign, and the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And this one hit the right field. Breen giving chase, and that one will fall for a base hit. Rodriguez comes in to score, and your Wild Things are on the board. It's now 2-1 Evansville Otters. RBI single for Dave Popkins. Popkins' 36th RBI of the year. Wild Things cut the lead to 1 now, as that'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Logan Uxa. Uxa so far on the day, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Last night, the star of the game, went 3 for 5, drove in all 3 of his team's runs, including a solo shot, an RBI single, and a RBI ground out in the ball game. 1 man out, 2-1. Evansville now leads over your Washington Wild Things. Popkins the runner at first. Ackerman has his sign, checks Popkins over there, and the pitch on the way to Uxa. That one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Wild Things first baseman. Dave Popkins, 36th RBI of the year on that single. He's standing at first base with 1 man out, and the Wild Things will look to tie this game now. Ackerman has his sign, the 1 ball, no strike pitch. Uxa ground ball down the line, and it is a foul ball. Just past the first base bag. Uxa inches away from extra bases there, but he'll have to do it again, as that is strike 1, getting that just to the right-hand side of the first base bag. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Popkins, the runner at first. An RBI single for him with 1 out following the Ricky Rodriguez triple. Hunter Ackerman, the left-hander, staring at Popkins over there. Popkins 4 stolen bases on the season. Currently good for 4th on the team. Ackerman has his sign and the 1 ball, 1 strike offering. And that one's just low for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 here on Logan Uxa. 1 man out. Uxa back at first base. It's been kind of a mainstay for the Wild Things at that position, as himself and Jimmy Yezzo had been splitting time at the position. Yezzo more of the DH role here lately. The 2 ball, 1 strike pitch, and Uxa takes this one low for a ball, so the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 the count here on Logan Uxa. Uxa trying to reach base. Back-to-back hits for the Wild Things has brought in the first run of the ball game here in the 4th inning. Hunter Ackerman looking in, has his sign, checks the runner at first, and the 3-1 offering. And a swing and a miss there by Uxa, so the count will go full 3 balls and 2 strikes. First full count on the day for Hunter Ackerman. On deck hitter is Kyle Pollock, following Logan Uxa. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 man out here on Superhero and Princess Night here at Bossy Field. So lots of the kids' favorite superheroes around the park. Everyone's having a fun night here at Bossy Field. Hopefully the Wild Things can get on the board and make that night a little bit funner for the road team. Ackerman has his sign, the 3 ball, 2 strike pitch. And Uxa hits this one to center field. Aliviato going back on it towards the track, and this one hits off the wall. Popkins will be waved to the plate, and here's the throw. There will be no throw. It's an RBI double by Logan Uxa, and this game is tied at 2. Logan Uxa continuing his offensive tear here in the series. Popkins scores, and the Wild Things have now tied the game. It is 2-2 between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Uxa's 20th RBI of the season, and that brings to the plate the catcher Kyle Pollock. Pollock so far 0 for 1 with a strikeout in this one. Logan Uxa, an RBI double, back-to-back RBI hits for your Wild Things, as now they have tied the game at 2 here at Bossy Field. Ackerman looking in. Ackerman, long look into Yamaguchi, now steps off and wants to go through the signs, now wants to have a talk with his catcher Yamaguchi. This inning started with a fly out by Chris Grayson, then Ricky Rodriguez, a 1-out triple to right field, then an RBI single by Dave Popkins, and then Logan Uxa coming through with the RBI double to tie the game for your Wild Things. 2-2 between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Washington clinging on to that second place spot in the Frontier League East with their 32-32 record, 4 games back of the Joliet Slammers, and right now 1.5 back of the final playoff spot here in the Frontier League. Ackerman checks the runner at second, and the pitch on the way, and Pollock takes this one for a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things catcher. 1 man out, top of the 4th. 2 runs in the inning for the Wild Things on an RBI single by Popkins and an RBI double by Logan Uxa. Hunter Ackerman looks in, has his sign, checks the runner at second, and the no ball, 1 strike offering. And Pollock takes this one for a strike just on the inside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2, 1 man out here in the top of the 4th. 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Hunter Ackerman, lefty, looking in. Ackerman a long look into Yamaguchi, and he steps off again and wants to go through the signs. Ackerman was going pretty quickly here through the first 3 innings, but here in this fourth, it again seems like him and Yamaguchi are not on the same page. Ackerman has his sign, checks second, the 0-2, and a swing and a miss there by Kyle Pollock. He strikes out, and that's out number 2. That is the 4th strikeout on the day for Hunter Ackerman. Second time Kyle Pollock has struck out, and that brings to the plate the designated hitter Zach Fish. Fish so far 0 for 1 in this ballgame. Did not play last night as Jimmy Yezzo was the DH, and Yezzo ended up going 0 for 4 with 3 groundouts and a flyout. So Zach Fish at the plate facing off against Hunter Ackerman with 2 outs. Fish still looking for his first Wild Things hit. Could get a big one if he can drive Logan Uxa in from second base. 2 men out, top of the 4th, 2 runs in for the Wild Things. Ackerman looking in to Yamaguchi. Has his sign, he's set. Checks Uxa at second, and the pitch on the way to Fish. And that one's a called, no, it's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Little fake there by the home plate umpire, Steve Bartelstein. Brought that hand up, but then just adjusted his mask. So it's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Zach Fish. Ackerman has his sign, checks the runner at second, and the 1 ball, no strike offering. And a check swing there by Fish. Did he go around? No, says the field umpire Drew Ashcraft, and the count now goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Zach Fish nearly falling after trying to stop that swing as he lost his balance and fell out of the right-handed batter's box. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 men out, and Zach Fish at the plate. Logan Uxa, the runner at second, drove in the second run of the ballgame for your Wild Things. Ackerman looks in, has his sign, he's set. Checks Logan Uxa at second base, and the 2-0 coming to Fish. And Fish ground ball to the left side, handled over there by Rio Pedre. Throw across to first, and that's in time for out number 3. However, the Wild Things getting 2 runs in the inning on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 3.5 the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the Evansville Otters 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 4th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the Evansville Otters 2. Wild Things tying this game in the top half of the 4th thanks to RBI single by Dave Popkins and an RBI double by Logan Uxa. Last inning for the Evansville Otters, Christopher Rio Pedre flew out to start things, and Nick Baylog would ground out. Chris Breen would walk, and Jeff Gardner would strike out to end the inning. Due up here in the 4th against Sam Agnew-Whelan, Denzel Richardson, Colton Yamaguchi, and K.O. Aliviato, 7, 8, and 9 against the Wild Things right-hander Agnew-Whelan. As we said, Agnew-Whelan in his first year with the Washington Wild Things. Last season, pitched for the Joplin Blasters of the American Association, and in that year, went 3-4 with a 3.68 ERA, appearing in 24 games, making 1 start. Through 44 innings, struck out 34, and walked 16 in his season with Joplin. Coming to the plate to lead things off, Denzel Richardson. Agnew-Whelan has his sign, the pitch, and Richardson takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Evansville designated hitter, Denzel Richardson, hitting from the right-handed side against the right-hander Sam Agnew-Whelan. Here's the no-ball, 1-strike offering. And that one's low for a ball. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Denzel Richardson, first appearance against the Wild Things here in this series, and it's the DH. Agnew-Whelan's 1 ball, 1 strike offering, and that one's high and outside for a ball, so the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count. Agnew-Whelan, as we said, Joplin Blaster last season, pitched 2 seasons in affiliated ball for Single A for the New York Yankees. The 2-1, and that one's inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 the count here on Denzel Richardson. Nobody out. Agnew-Whelan trying to avoid that leadoff walk. So far in the day, only 1 walk for Sam Agnew-Whelan. That was back in the 3rd. Has his sign. Here's the 3-1. And this ball fouled off, so the count will go full. Hits off the seat cover here at Bosse Field, and the count goes full to 3-2. Colton Yamaguchi, the on-deck hitter for the Evansville Otters, if Denzel Richardson should reach. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Agnew Whelan has his sign, and the pitch. And this one fouled off as well, so Richardson staying alive here against Agnew Whelan. 2 straight foul balls has gotten this count full with nobody out in the bottom of the 4th. And for Agnew Whelan, now has a tie game, working with a brand new ball game, so he can just relax and pitch his game. He'd like to see him give you at least 6 in this ball game, and then turn it over to that very good Washington Wild Things bullpen. They have Andrew Wick, Zach Groats out there, have all been doing very well this season for the Wild Things and have come through when the team has needed them this season. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss. Denzel Richardson strikes out, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 4th. For Agnew Whelan, that's his 3rd strikeout of the day, and that'll bring to the plate the catcher, Colton Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi, no official at-bat to this point, as he was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. So 1 out, bottom of the 4th. Game tied at 2 between your Washington Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Agnew Whelan's pitch, and that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Evansville Otters catcher. 1 man out from Evansville, Indiana. Game 2 of 3. You're listening to the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. The 1-0. This one lined into left field. Andrew Heck a couple of steps in, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down for Agnew Whelan here in the 4th. Looking for his first 1-2-3 inning here in this ball game, as that'll bring to the plate the center fielder, K.O. Aliviato. Aliviato so far 1 for 1 with an RBI single to this point. Drove in the 2nd run of the ball game for the Evansville Otters. Really, Agnew Whelan's been doing very well on the mound. Just that one mistake pitch to Josh Allen that got hammered over the left field ball. Other than that, all the other hits have been very soft and has found holes. Here's the first pitch, and that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on K.O. Aliviato, the number 9 hitter for the Evansville Otters. Was in that number 9 spot last night as well. Agnew Whelan has his sign, the 1-0. And this one fouled back over the seat covering here at Bosse Field. Count goes even to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Bosse Field is the 3rd oldest professional stadium still in use behind Wrigley Field and Fenway Park of Major League Baseball. Here's the 1-1, and this ball fouled back as well, so the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lots of history here at Bosse Field, including the filming of a league of their own. Numerous baseball and football games have been played here. Lots of history at the stadium. It's a very nice ballpark. About a half-full crowd here tonight. Was walking around exploring the site before the game. Lots to take in. Agnew Whelan's 1-2, and this one hit to center field. Chris Grayson coming in, Wobrock going out. Grayson will call him off and makes a nice running catch. And that is out number 3. Grayson showing off the speed there, and that ends the inning. 1-2-3 go the Evansville Otters here in the 4th. And after 4 innings of play, the score, Evansville 2 and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 5th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the Evansville Otters 2. Wild Things scoring both their runs last inning as Chris Grayson flew out to start things. Then Ricky Rodriguez, a 1-out triple down the right field line before an RBI single by Dave Popkins scored Rodriguez and made the score 2-1 Evansville. Next batter, Logan Uxa, came in, and he delivered an RBI double deep to center field. Popkins came in easily, and that tied the game at 2. Kyle Pollock would strike out, and Zach Fish would ground out to end that inning. Due up here in the 5th, Grant Fink, Austin Wobrock, and Andrew Heck, 8, 9, and 1, facing off against Hunter Ackerman here in this one. Ackerman getting roughed up last inning was flying through the ball game through the first 3 innings. Got the Wild Things 1-2-3 in the first. Got them 1-2-3 in the third as well. Gave up 1 hit in the second inning. And last inning got roughed up by the Wild Things. And the Wild Things will try to add 1 here in this inning. Bossy Field here, natural grass stadium. Not used to seeing that here in the Frontier League. Only a few natural grass fields. You saw one in Joliet. Also saw one in Schaumburg. And now here in Evansville, used to the artificial turf. Talking to Logan Uxa before the game, says that the only difference really between turf and natural grass is you can get bad hots, but he likes the playing surface here. Says it's very well maintained, and it's fun to play on. Coming to the plate to lead things off here in the fifth, second baseman Grant Fink. Fink so far 0 for 1 with a ground out in this ball game. Nobody out top of the fifth. 2-2 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Hunter Ackerman looking in. Ackerman has his sign, and the pitch on the way. And Fink fouls this one off to the right past first base coach Mike Martin, and the count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count. Grant Fink is second straight game at second base, as Jamadrick Magruder still nursing a hamstring injury suffered on Sunday when he stepped on the bag awkwardly. Ackerman has his sign, and now he'll step off as he wants to go through the signs once more. No balls, 1 strike here in the top of the fifth on Grant Fink. Ackerman's 0-1. And Fink a ground ball to the left side, handled by Gomez. Gomez will throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the fifth, and that brings up the shortstop Austin Wobrock. Wobrock so far 0 for 1 in the ball game. Last night went 0 for 4 with 3 groundouts and a strikeout. 1 out top of the fifth. 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Wild Things trying to get back above 500. They sit at 32-32 after last night's loss. Currently 1.5 games out of the final wild card spot here in the Frontier League. The Normal Corn Belters and the Gateway Grizzlies sit over top of them. Hunter Ackerman looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch, and this one's fouled off to the right. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Austin Wobrock, the number 9 hitter in the order for your Washington Wild Things. And really look at this playoff race. Every team still has a shot to make these playoffs. Playoff picture here in the Frontier League. The 2 division winners get the top 2 seeds, and the next 2 teams with the best records. The 0-1, that one's fouled off by Wobrock, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Now, those best records are regardless of division, so you'd have to be the next 2 best teams. Does not have to be the second place team in the West and the second place team in the East. So the Wild Things 1.5 back of the Normal Corn Belters for that last spot. The 0-2 pitch, and this one lined into right field, and that's a base hit for Wobrock. 1 out single, and the Wild Things have a man on here in the top of the fifth, and that'll bring to the plate the left fielder Andrew Heck. Heck so far on the day, 0 for 2, struck out in the first and flew out in inning number 3. Runner on first with 1 man out for your Wild Things. 2-2 the score between the Wild Things and the Otters. Heck coming to the plate. Heck last night went 1 for 3 in the contest, scored a run in the 9th inning as the Wild Things tried to fight back against the Evansville Otters, but could not as they fell 2 runs short, trying to take the lead here in the 5th. Hunter Ackerman looking in. Ackerman has his sign, checks Wobrock at first, and the pitch on the way. And Heck takes this one for a strike on the outside corner, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things left fielder. 1 man out in the top of the fifth. 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Hunter Ackerman looking in, has his sign, checks Wobrock, and the no ball 1 strike pitch. Heck takes this one low for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. For Austin Wobrock at first base, currently has 6 steals on the year. Those 6 steals good for second on this Washington Wild Things team behind Chris Grayson. Hunter Ackerman has his sign, he's set. And the 1 ball, 1 strike offering. And Heck takes this one high for a ball, so the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 here on the 4th year man on this Washington Wild Things team. Has played 4 seasons for the Washington Wild Things, as he's currently in this 4th season. Veteran on this team. Hunter Ackerman set and checks first. Here's the 2-1. And this one's high for a ball as well, so the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 the count here on Andrew Heck, the leadoff man for the Washington Wild Things. There is 1 man out here in this top of the 5th, and a runner at first as Austin Wobrock hit the 1 out single. Ackerman has his sign, checks first, and the 3 ball, 1 strike pitch, and Heck into left field, and that's a base hit. Back-to-back one-out singles. Austin Wobrock will have to stop at second, and there are now runners at first and second for your Wild Things here in the top of the fifth. One man out, and that brings to the plate the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far 0 for 2, grounded out in the first, and flew out in inning number 4. Wild Things setting up shop here to try to take the lead in the fifth inning. Austin Wobrock standing on second base. He's the go-ahead run here in the fifth. Third baseman Christopher Rio Pedre playing in on the grass. Every other infielder about normal depth out there against Grayson. Hunter Ackerman looking in. Lefty-on-lefty matchup. Checks Wobrock at second, and the pitch on the way. And Grayson pops this one up. Center field, K.O. Aliviato coming in, drifting to right center. He'll make the catch, and that is out number 2. Not nearly deep enough for Austin Wobrock to tag up, so he'll have to stay at second. Runners remain at first and second, and 2 men out now for the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 0 for 1, flew out in the first and walked and tripled and scored a run in inning number 4. So 1 for 2 on the day is Rodriguez. Got that rally started in the 4th inning, trying to drive himself a run in here in inning number 5. Rodriguez has been running into some bad luck lately as he's been driving runs in, but unfortunately none of them have been for RBIs. He's drove in a couple runs via an error, also drove in some runs on a fielder's choices. He has still 22 RBIs on the year for Rodriguez. Ackerman checks second, has his sign, and the pitch on the way. And Rodriguez takes this one for a strike on the inside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count, top of the fifth. 2-2 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Game 2 of this 3-game series here at Bosse Field in Evansville, Indiana. Austin Wobrock, the runner at second. Andrew Heck, the runner at first. Both producing one-out singles. Ackerman looks into Yamaguchi, has his sign, he's set, and the no-ball, one-strike pitch. Check to second, and here it comes. And Rodriguez pops this one up in foul territory off to the right. That'll get back into the seats and foul, so the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here with 2 men out here in the top of the fifth. 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Colton Yamaguchi will go out to have a talk with his pitcher, Hunter Ackerman, and they've been doing that a lot lately, Ackerman and Yamaguchi. They'll have an inning where they're fine, and then they'll go back out and talk to each other once again as they're trying to get on the same page here with 2 outs and 0-2 count on Ricky Rodriguez. Austin Wobrock at second, Andrew Heck the runner at first. Hunter Ackerman looking in, has his sign, checks the runner at second, and the no-ball, 2-strike pitch. And a swing and a miss there by Rodriguez. He strikes out, and the inning is over. No runs in the inning for the Wild Things on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 4.5, the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the Evansville Otters 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the fifth, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the Evansville Otters 2. Sam Agnew-Whelan back out there for his 5th inning of work. Last inning got his first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game, where he got Denzel Richardson to strike out. Colton Yamaguchi would fly out, and K.O. Aliviato would fly out to end the inning. Due up here in the 5th, Rolando Gomez, Josh Allen, and Christopher Rio Pedre, 1, 2, and 3, facing off against Agnew-Whelan. Agnew-Whelan so far has been very good today, ever since that 2nd inning, holding the Evansville Otters off the board, keeping them at 2 runs, and it's given his offense a chance to get him some runs in this ball game. They scored him 2 in the 4th inning and have tied this game. Agnew-Whelan back out there looking to keep it that way here in the bottom of the 5th. Stepping in to lead things off in this bottom of the 5th inning is the shortstop, Rolando Gomez. Gomez so far 0 for 2, grounded out in the first, and flew out in inning number 2. Now stepping up here to lead off the bottom of the 5th. Nobody out, 2-2 the score. Sam Agnew-Whelan standing at 6'1", 210 from Marietta, Georgia. Throwing from the right-handed side. Agnew-Whelan looks in to his catcher, Kyle Pollock. Agnew-Whelan has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. And Gomez showing bunt, gets this one down. Pollock out of the crouch. He'll grab it, throw to first. And a very nice play there by Kyle Pollock. 2-3 on the putout. 1 up, 1 down here in the 5th. Pollock quickly getting out of the crouch on that one. Barehanding the ball and firing a strike to Logan Uxa just in time for the out. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. And that brings to the plate the second baseman, Josh Allen. Allen so far 1 for 2, hit a solo home run in the 1st and struck out in inning number 2. 1 man out, bottom of the 5th, 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Agnew Whelan has his sign. Here's the pitch, and that one's inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Josh Allen. 1 man out, bottom of the 5th. On a nice play by Kyle Pollock. Agnew Whelan has his sign, and the 1 ball, no strike pitch. And that one's low for a ball as well, so Agnew Whelan falling behind Allen, 2 balls and no strikes. For Agnew Whelan, he hasn't been pitching terrible today. He's given up 6 hits. Just the one was hit hard was that solo home run. That one's outside for a ball as well, 3 balls and no strikes. All the other hits he's given up in this game have just been soft ground balls that have ended up finding holes on him and have been hurting him. Has his sign. Here's the 3-0 offering, and that one's in there for a strike on the outside corner. 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 the count here on Josh Allen. Agnew Whelan trying to fight back in this one. His longest outing of the year was 6 innings of work. That was back on July the 2nd against Florence, and this one's outside, ball 4. So the second walk of the day for Sam Agnew Whelan puts a runner at first and 1 man out for Evansville, and that'll bring to the plate the third baseman, Christopher Rio Pedre. Rio Pedre so far on the day, 0 for 2, lined out in the first and flew out in inning number 3. 1 man out, runner on for the Evansville Otters after the second walk of the day for Sam Agnew Whelan. Came in with a 2-2 record. He's trying to go over 500 as well, hoping he can keep Evansville off the board here in the 5th, and that his offense can get him some runs. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Agnew Whelan looking in, has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at first, and the pitch on the way. And Rio Pedre takes this one inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Evansville third baseman. Agnew Whelan trying to get through a clean 5th inning. Has not allowed a run since inning number 2 on the mound. Agnew Whelan checks Pollock, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, no strike offering. And this ball fouled off to the right, back behind the seats, and the count goes even at 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count, 1 man out here from Bosse Field in Evansville, Indiana. Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. 2-2 the score in this one. Evansville winning last night by the score of 5-3. Sam Agnew Whelan looks in, has his sign, checks first, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. He looks back at first, and the count will remain 1-1. Runner at first for the Evansville Otters is Josh Allen. Agnew Whelan has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch outside, and the fake snap throw by Kyle Pollock, but just looks Allen back. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike for Josh Allen on the year. Currently has 22 stolen bases in 65 games, leads the Evansville Otters in that category. Agnew Whelan has his sign, the 2-1, and that one's inside as well, 3 balls and a strike. So Agnew Whelan going a little wild here in the bottom of the 5th as he walked Josh Allen after getting the first out of the inning. And now 3-1 the count to Christopher Rio Pedre. Rio Pedre had to lean way out of the way of that last pitch. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 man out, bottom of the 5th. And the Evansville Otters and your Washington Wild Things are tied at 2 here in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Sam Agnew Whelan looking in. Right-hander on the mound, standing at 6-1. Agnew Whelan has his sign, he's set, and the 3 ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one's high, ball 4. Second straight walk for Sam Agnew Whelan here in the inning. And now there are runners at first and second with 1 man out. That'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Nick Baylog. Baylog so far 0 for 2 with a ground out in the first and a ground out in inning number 3. Runners at first and second, 1 man out, bottom of the 5th. 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Runner at second, Josh Allen, and the runner at first is Christopher Rio Pedre. 1 man out, bottom of the 5th. 2 runs on 6 hits for the Otters. 2 runs on 4 hits for your Washington Wild Things. Agnew Whelan's pitch, and that one's in the dirt, blocked by Pollock. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Agnew Whelan just walked 1 man up to this 5th inning. So far 2 walks here in the inning, and that'll prompt some action in the Wild Things bullpen. Colin Stanley warming up out there for your Wild Things. Agnew Whelan looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1-ball, no-strike pitch. And this ball hit the right center field and deep. Chris Grayson going back to the track, to the wall, and this one's off the wall. Coming around third is both Allen and Rio Pedre. They will score a 2 RBI double for Nick Baylog, as now Evansville leads this one 4-2 over your Wild Things. Both Josh Allen and Christopher Rio Pedre score. It's 4-2 Evansville now here in the bottom of the 5th, and that ball, one of the first hard-hit balls since that Josh Allen double, got to right center field. Grayson giving it chase, could not get to it, and it's off the wall, and now Evansville leads 4-2, and that'll bring to the plate the right fielder, Chris Breen. Breen so far 1 for 1, singled and scored a run in the second, and walked in inning number 3. 4-2, Evansville now leads over your Washington Wild Things here in the bottom of the 5th. Agnew Whelan has his sign, checks second, the pitch, and this one's fouled off back behind the stands. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Chris Breen. Runner at second, 1 man out, as Nick Baylog standing in there after his 2 RBI double. Agnew Whelan looks into Kyle Pollock. Agnew Whelan has his sign, he's set, and the no-ball, 1-strike pitch after a check to second. Here it comes, and that one's inside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here, 1 man out, bottom of the 5th. 4 runs now for the Evansville Otters as they lead 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Agnew Whelan going through the signs once more. Now has one he likes. He's set. And the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one's inside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 now here on here on Chris Breen from Sam Agnew Whelan. As this inning, 2 runs already in on the 2 RBI double by Nick Baylog. Agnew Whelan looking into Kyle Pollock. Has his sign, he's set. Checks second, the 2-1. And that one's in the dirt, blocked by Pollock as well, and the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1, 1 man out. Agnew Whelan in danger of walking his 3rd man in the inning here in the 5th. And the 5th inning has seemed to be a problem for Sam Agnew Whelan. Longest he's gone is 6, but he's always seemed to hit that roadblock right in the 5th inning. So trying to get through this 5th inning. He's already allowed 2 runs. Agnew Whelan has his sign, the 3-1, and that one's high, ball 4. The 3rd walk in the inning for Agnew Whelan, and runners are back at first and second with 1 man out. Colin Stanley is in the bullpen for the Wild Things. That'll bring manager Greg Langben out of the Wild Things dugout, and we will have a pitching change. So we're going to take a break, but we'll be right back with more baseball from Evansville, Indiana. The score, Evansville 4, and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports
Enjoy
Network.
Shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently in the bottom of the 5th, 2 runs already in the inning, and the Evansville Otters lead 4-2. Nick Baylog standing on second after his 2 RBI double, and Chris Breen at first after his walk. New pitcher on in the game for the Washington Wild Things, as it will be right-hander Colin Stanley. Stanley enters this one with a record of 3-1, 1 save on the year, a 3.30 ERA, appearing in his 23rd game. Has thrown 30 innings of work, giving up 12 runs, 11 earned on 22 hits, 10 walks, and 24 strikeouts on the year for Stanley. So Stanley into the ballgame for Agnew Whelan. Line not officially closed on Agnew Whelan, but so far 4 1/3 innings pitched, has given up 4 runs, all of them earned on 5 hits, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts in the contest to this point. Still responsible for the runners at both first and second base. here in this one. First man due up to face Stanley here in the 5th is Jeff Gardner. Gardner so far on the day, 1 for 2, singled in inning number 2, and struck out in the 3rd inning. Runners are at first and second with one man out, and making his way to the plate is Jeff Gardner. So Colin Stanley, the new pitcher. Stanley's been in the middle relief role, the long relief role for the Wild Things. Has gone 3 innings in a lot of his outings, but we've also seen him come in the 1-inning situation as he did in Game 3 against the Florence Freedom. So Colin Stanley on the mound, the new pitcher. Stanley looking into Kyle Pollock. Stanley goes through the signs once more, now has one he likes. He's set, checks Baylog at second, and the pitch on the way. And Stanley gets a ground ball to the right side, and that's through past Fink for a base hit. They're going to hold Baylog at third, and now the bases are full of Evansville Otters here with one man out. So not what Stanley wanted to do out of the bullpen. Gives up the leadoff single, just squirts through the hole on the right side past Grant Fink. Bases are full of Evansville Otters here with one man out, and that'll bring to the plate the designated hitter, Denzel Richardson. Richardson so far on the day, 0 for 2, flew out in the second and struck out in inning number 4. Bases are loaded here with Evansville Otters. One man out, bottom of the 5th. 2 runs in the inning already as Nick Baylog had a 2 RBI double. Baylog stands at third, Chris Breen at second, and Jeff Gardner, the runner, at first. Stanley looks in, goes through the signs once more, has one he likes, checks the runner at second, and the pitch on the way. And this one taken outside by Richardson. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here in the bottom of the 5th on Denzel Richardson. Big situation. Stanley would love a ground ball if he could get one. Logan Uxa in on the grass at first. Everyone else about normal positioning here on the infield. Colin Stanley looks in. Stanley has his sign. He's set. And the 1 ball, no strike pitch. And that one's in the dirt. Again blocked by Kyle Pollock. And the count goes to 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 man out here in the bottom of the 5th. Stanley, his first scoreless inning in a month, his last time out, trying to build upon that here tonight. Gave up a hit to the first man he faced, and right now down 2-0 to Denzel Richardson. So Stanley trying to clean things up. 2 balls, no strikes, bases loaded for the Evansville Otters, and 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Stanley looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball, no strike pitch. And that one swung on a miss, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. Richardson chasing a breaking ball that went down and out of the zone. Stanley going to try to leave the bases loaded here. Sam Agnew-Whelan left with runners at first and second. Then the single by Jeff Gardner had loaded the bases. Colin Stanley looking in. Stanley has his sign, checks Baylog at third, and the 2 ball, 1 strike offering. And this one grounded to the left side, and that one will go foul, so the count will go even now with 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 1 man out. Agnew-Whelan responsible for the runners at second and third. Stanley's responsibility is for the runner at first. Trying to get out of a big jam is Colin Stanley and keep this at a 2-run deficit for the Wild Things. Colin Stanley looks in. Stanley to Kyle Pollock. Has his sign. He's set. Checks Baylog at third. And the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And a swing and a miss. Colin Stanley gets him a big out number 2 as Denzel Richardson strikes out. Bases remain loaded with 2 men out, and that'll bring to the plate the catcher, Colton Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi so far 0 for 1, hit by a pitch in the second, and flew out in inning number 4. Now 2 outs and the bases loaded for the Evansville Otters. Stanley a chance to get out of this one here in the bottom of the 5th, just keeping this a 2-run deficit. Colin Stanley looks in. Stanley has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And this ball popped up, foul territory off to the right. Logan Uxa and Dave Popkins giving chase. Popkins goes over, he slides, and he's going to run out of room as that one falls in foul territory for strike 1. No balls and a strike. Popkins giving as much chase as he could, sliding before he hit that padded wall out there in right field. So no balls, 1 strike to count here on Colton Yamaguchi, the number 8 hitter for the Evansville Otters. 2 men out in this bottom of the 5th inning. Runner at third, Nick Baylog. Runner at second, Chris Breen. And the runner at first is Jeff Gardner. Stanley trying to get out of this bases loaded. 2-out jam now. Got the first out by striking, or the second out by striking out Denzel Richardson. Stanley has his sign. He's set. And the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one's in there for called strike 2 on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count after allowing that leadoff single. Colin Stanley's come back and struck out Denzel Richardson, looking to strike out Yamaguchi here for the final out in the inning. Stanley looks in, to Kyle Pollock, has his sign, he's set, and the no ball 2-strike pitch. Swinging a ground ball to the right side, that'll go foul fast past the first base coach, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Wild Things bullpen has been very good this season. Colin Stanley included in that category. The 3.30 ERA, currently good for 4th on this Washington Wild Things team behind Zach Groats, Matt Frauden, and Devin Davis. Stanley looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the no ball 2-strike pitch. And this one ground to the right side. Grant Fink will handle it. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. Evansville ends up getting just 2 runs in the inning, courtesy of only 1 hit, no errors, and they leave the bases loaded. After 5 innings of play, the score, the Evansville Otters 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 6th, and the score, the Evansville Otters 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. Back out on the mound for the Evansville Otters is Hunter Ackerman for his 5th inning of work. Last inning for the Washington Wild Things, Grant Fink grounded out to start things, then Austin Woldbrock would single. Andrew Heck would single as well, so there'd be runners at first and second with 1 man out before Chris Grayson would fly out, and Ricky Rodriguez struck out to end the inning. Due up here in the 6th, Dave Popkins, Logan Uxa, and Kyle Pollock, 4, 5, and 6, due up to face Hunter Ackerman. Now, Ackerman was good except for the 4th inning. Ran into some problems there where he gave up 2 runs. Other than that, has been very good on the night so far. 5 innings of work, has just given up the 2 runs, both earned on, a total of 6 hits for the Washington Wild Things. He has struck out 5 in the ball game so far and has not walked a batter to this point. So Hunter Ackerman so far so good on the mound for the Evansville Otters, facing the middle of the order for the Washington Wild Things. This road trip continues tomorrow night as it's Game 3 of this 3-game series here at Bosse Field. It'll be Chase Cunningham on the hill for your Washington Wild Things versus a starter to be announced for the Evansville Otters. Game 3 of the 3-game series can be heard right here on the MSA Sports Network. A 7:35 first pitch will be on the air with the pregame show at 7:20. Wild Things 32-32 entering this ball game, trying not to slip below 500 in this one. Dave Popkins, Logan Uxa, and Kyle Pollock due up here in the 6th. Ackerman finished with his warm-up tosses, so Dave Popkins will make his way to the plate. Popkins so far in the day, 2 for 2, has singled twice in this ball game and drove in the first run of the game for your Washington Wild Things. 4-2, the Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things here in this one. Popkins stepping in, led off the 2nd inning with a single. Will look to try to lead off this inning with a hit as well. Hunter Ackerman looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch, and Popkins lines this one down the left field line, but it'll go foul back into the stands, and the count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on Dave Popkins. Hit his 36th RBI of the year when he got that RBI single back in the 4th inning. Ackerman has his sign. He's set. Now he'll step off as he wants to go through the signs once again. No balls, 1 strike the count on Dave Popkins. Nobody out, top of the 6th. Ackerman has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And Ackerman takes this one low and outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Dave Popkins. Nobody out, top of the 6th. Evansville got 2 runs in that bottom half of the 5th to take the lead. The 1-1, that one swung on and foul tipped by Dave Popkins, and Yamaguchi getting hit by that foul ball has to walk that one off, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yamaguchi jumping out of the crouch did not take that one in a very nice spot, so he's shaking that one off, and the home plate umpire Steve Bartelstein will give him some time as he goes to the mound. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count here on Dave Popkins. Nobody out, top of the 6th. Wild Things trying to retie this game. It was tied at 2 before 2 runs came in the bottom half of this 5th inning to give the Evansville a 4-2 lead. Hunter Ackerman looking in. Ackerman has his sign. He's set. And the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch on the way to Popkins. And that one's just outside for a ball. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, nobody out. Dave Popkins in his second year with the Washington Wild Things is a San Diego, California native. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and this ball lined right at second base. Josh Allen leaps and makes a pretty nice catch there for out number 1. A slow line drive by Dave Popkins. Allen having to go back 1 or 2 steps on it, then leaped in the air and made the catch for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the 6th, and that brings up the first baseman, Logan Uxa. Uxa so far on the day, 1 for 2, struck out and hit an RBI double so far in this one. 1 man out, Evansville leads 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Uxa bats from the left-handed side against the left-hander, Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Uxa takes this one for a ball on the inside. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Logan Uxa, your Wild Things star of the game last night, going 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. So far tonight's driven in another run in this series. The 1-0 pitch. And Uxa takes this one for a called strike on the inside corner. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1, 1 man out here in the top of the 6th. 4-2. Evansville leads over your Washington Wild Things in front of a half-filled crowd here at Bosse Field. The 1 ball, 1 strike pitch from Ackerman. And that one's inside as well, so the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count. Tonight's starter for your Wild Things, Sam Agnew-Whelan, only lasted 4 1/3 in the ball game, giving up 4 runs. Tonight, Ackerman has his sign, the 2 ball, 1 strike offering. And this one swung on and fouled back by Uxa, so the count goes to 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Logan Uxa fouling that pitch off against Ackerman. 1 man out in the top of the 6th here from Bosse Field in Evansville, Indiana. Not very much wind here, as that Flagstaff in center field is staying pretty much limp here in this one. Ackerman has his sign, the 2-2 offering, and this ball lined down the right field line. That's hooking and will go foul. Uxa just missing that one as he gets it foul off to the right side. A little early on that pitch, as we'll have to come back again. The count remaining 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 1 man out here in the top of the 6th. Logan Uxa at the plate facing off against Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this ball fouled off by Uxa again. That one will go back over the seat covering here, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes for Logan Uxa, standing in there at 6'4", 220, a St. Louis, Missouri native, so we'll be close to his hometown when we go to River City. St. Peters, Missouri, is where River City is located, just 10 minutes north of St. Louis. The 2-2, and that one's a called strike 3. Logan Uxa strikes out, and that's the second out here in the top of the 6th. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things, and that brings on the catcher, Kyle Pollock. Pollock so far on the night is 0 for 2, struck out twice in this ball game. 2 men out here in the top of the 6th. 4-2, the Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Kyle Pollock, the number 6 hitter in the order. As Hunter Ackerman looking into Yamaguchi. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Pollock checks his swing, takes one on the inside corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count, 2 men out, top of the 6th. 4-2, the Evansville Otters lead. Ackerman has his sign, the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one's a called strike as well, so the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out, top of the 6th. Pollock trying to get some 2-out magic going for the Wild Things. They've actually had some pretty good offense with 2 outs this season. As Kyle Pollock at the plate facing off against Ackerman. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the no ball, 2 strike pitch. Here it comes. And a swing and a miss. Pollock strikes out, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 go the Wild Things here in the 6th. And after 5.5, the score. The Evansville Otters 4, and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6000 888-646-8203 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. Progress, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 6th, and the score, the Evansville Otters 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. Colin Stanley staying in the game for his first full inning of relief in this one. Got the last 2 outs in inning number 5. Things started out in that 5th inning with Rolando Gomez bunting and Kyle Pollock making a nice play for out number 1. Then Josh Allen would walk and Christopher Rio Pedre would walk. Runners would be at first and second with 1 man out before Nick Baylog came through with a 2 RBI double. Allen and Rio Pedre would score, and the Evansville Otters would take a 4-2 lead. Next batter, Chris Breen, would walk, so there'd be runners at first and second again with 1 man out, and that would be all for the starters Sam Agnew Whelan. Then Colin Stanley came in. First man he faced was Jeff Gardner. Gardner singled off him, and that loaded the bases with 1 out. He then struck out Denzel Richardson and got Colton Yamaguchi to ground out to end the inning. Due up here in the 6th, K.O. Aliviato, Rolando Gomez, and Josh Allen, 9-1-2, facing off against Colin Stanley. The final line for your starter, Sam Agnew Whelan, in this one went 4 1/3, gave up 4 runs, all earned on 5 hits, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He's on the hook if Evansville keeps this lead. Stepping in to lead things off here in the bottom of the 6th, K.O. Aliviato. Aliviato so far 1 for 2, RBI single in the 2nd, and flew out in inning number 4. Colin Stanley on the mound for his first full inning of relief. Stanley standing in at 6'175" from Hartville, Ohio. Stanley has his sign, the pitch, and that one's in there on the inside corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count for Colin Stanley. 24 strikeouts and 10 walks in 30 innings of work. So striking out batters at a good clip and not very wild this season. He has given up 22 hits in those 30 innings. The 0-1, and that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on K.O. Aliviato, hitting in the number 9 spot. Has been showing off his speed in this series, making a couple of very nice defensive plays in the outfield to help his team get the victory in Game 1 and have the lead here in Game 2. Stanley set the 1-1, and this ball hit down the right field line. It's hooking and will go foul into the seats. The count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on K.O. Aliviato. Nobody out, bottom of the 6th, 4-2. Evansville leads over your Washington Wild Things. Wild Things tonight in their red alternate jerseys. The Evansville Otters in their maroon alternate jerseys. Stanley has his sign. He's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one ground to the right side and foul past the first base coaching box, so the count remains 1-2. Aliviato fighting off a tough 2-strike pitch there from Colin Stanley to stay alive here in this one. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and nobody out. Stanley checks into Pollock, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike offering. And this one grounded towards second. Grant Fink will handle it. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Evansville Otters here in the 6th, and that'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Rolando Gomez. Gomez so far in this one, 0 for 3, grounded out in the first, flew out in the second, and bunted out in inning number 5. 1 man out, bottom of the 6th, 4-2. Evansville leads over your Wild Things. Game 2 of this 3-game series. We're in the middle of a 9-game, 10-day road trip, 5th game of this road trip. So the Wild Things just about halfway done with the road trip. They'll return to Consol on August 9th. The pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Rolando Gomez. 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. 4-2. The Otters lead over your Wild Things. Stanley has his sign. He's set. And the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And this one lined over the head of Fink in the right field, and that's a base hit. A 1-out single for Rolando Gomez. Gomez's first hit of the night. And there's a runner at first with 1 man out for the second baseman, Josh Allen. Allen so far 1 for 2, a solo home run back in the first, struck out in the second, and walked and scored a run in inning number 5. 1 man out, bottom of the 6th. Stanley trying to keep this just a 2-run deficit for your Wild Things as they'll try to come back in this game. 4-2, Evansville leads this one right now. Colin Stanley looks into Kyle Pollock. Stanley has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at first, and the pitch on the way. And a check swing there by Allen, and did he go around? No, says the field umpire, and the count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Josh Allen, the number 2 hitter in this Evansville order. Hit there last night, currently leads the team with his .360 average and 8 home runs, and his 31 RBIs are good for second on the team. Stanley has his sign, checks the runner at first, and the 1-ball no-strike pitch. And it's inside, and it gets Josh Allen. The second man of the Wild Things pitcher is hit tonight, hit by pitch, and there are runners now at first and second with one man out as Josh Allen goes to first, Rolando Gomez at second, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Christopher Rio Pedre. Rio Pedre so far 0 for 2, lined out in the first, flew out in the third, and walked and scored a run in the fifth. One man out here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Evansville threatening again with runners at first and second and one man out. There is action in the Wild Things bullpen, as out there right now is Brian O'Keefe, the left-hander. Colin Stanley looking in. Stanley has his sign. He's set. Checks the runner at second, and the pitch on the way. And this ball popped up. Foul territory off to the left. Rodriguez giving chase over by the stands, and he's going to run out of room. And that'll be a long strike one. No balls and one strike. 0-1 the count here on Christopher Rio Pedre, the player of the game last night for the Evansville Otters. Went 2 for 4, drove in 2 runs in last night's win for the Otters. So far tonight is 0 for 2. No balls and a strike. One man out. Colin Stanley on the hill. The second pitcher used by the Wild Things. So the starter, Sam Agnew-Whelan, went 4 1/3 and gave up 4 runs in the ball game. Stanley has his sign, checks the runner at second, and the no ball, one strike pitch. And this ball lined right at second base. Fink handles it, flipped the Roadblock, and they got the double play. They caught Rolando Gomez napping at second base, and that will end the inning. Double play, lined out to the second baseman, and threw to short to complete the double play. So Evansville gets no runs in the inning on just 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 6 innings of play, the score, the Evansville Otters 4, and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here in the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 7th, and the score, the Evansville Otters 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. Hunter Ackerman back out there for his 7th inning of work. Last inning got the Wild Things 1-2-3 as Dave Popkins lined out to start things, and Logan Uxa struck out, and Kyle Pollock struck out to end the inning. Due up here in the 7th, Zach Fish, Grant Fink, and Austin Wobrock, 7, 8, and 9, facing off against Hunter Ackerman. Now, Ackerman has a few starts in his career against your Washington Wild Things, has some history with the Wild Things. In total has 2 starts, 1 relief. He's 0-1 with a 7.29 ERA against the Wild Things. His last time was on July the 4th of 2015. Went 3 innings in that game, gave up 4 runs, all earned on 8 hits, a walk, and 3 strikeouts in what would be a no decision tonight for Ackerman so far. Through 6, he has given up 2 runs in the ball game on 6 hits for your Wild Things, while striking out, 6 on the day, and walking a total of nobody. So no walks in the day for Hunter Ackerman. Do have to face him, as we said, Zach Fish, Grant Fink, and Austin Wobrock here in the top of the 7th. 4-2 the Evansville Otters lead. This road trip will conclude in River City Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, August 5th, 6th, and 7th, as the Wild Things wrap up this 10-day, 9-game road trip in River City, St. Peters, Missouri. You can tune in to all those games right here on the MSA Sports Network. Designated hitter Zach Fish making his way to the plate here to lead things off in the top of the 7th. Fish so far on the day, 0 for 2, grounded out to short in his first at-bat, and then grounded out in the 4th inning in this ball game. So nobody out, top of the 7th. Zach Fish at the plate, bottom of the order, trying to get something started here against the Evansville Otters. Hunter Ackerman on the mound, facing off against Zach Fish. Fish playing in his 3rd game with the team, 0 for 6 to start his Wild Things career coming into tonight. Hunter Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Fish takes this one inside and low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Fish really hasn't had a chance to display it yet, but saw him in batting practice the first day he was signed by the Wild Things, and he was hitting absolute bombs over the left field ball at Consol Energy Park. So he has some power in there, just hasn't translated into game action. The 1-0, and that one's fouled back behind the seats, and the count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Fish is a Wild Thing. Saw him behind the plate in his Wild Things debut as he backed up Kyle Pollock, and his last time was as a designated hitter like he is tonight. Ackerman has his sign, the 1-1, and Fish pops this one up foul. That will get back into the seats as well, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on the Wild Things designated hitter. Nobody out, top of the 7th, 4-2. The Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Hunter Ackerman, the lefty, looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And Fish a foul ball right at the plate, so he's just staying alive, got a piece of that ball, and will live to fight another day. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Brian O'Keefe still out there in the Wild Things bullpen. He's ready to go if he is needed in the 7th inning. Hunter Ackerman looks into Colton Yamaguchi. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike offering. And Fish a fly ball to center field. K.O. Aliviato drifting over into right center now, and he will make the catch, and that's out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the top of the 7th, and that'll bring to the plate the second baseman, Grant Fink. Fink so far 0 for 2, 2 groundouts. His groundout to short in both at-bats here tonight. 1 man out, top of the 7th, 4-2. The Evansville Otters lead in this one. Evansville added 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th after the Wild Things tied the game in the 4th to take this 4-2 lead. Hunter Ackerman looks in, has his sign, and the pitch on the way. And Fink takes this one inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Grant Fink. Fink, the number 8 hitter in the order for the Wild Things. Here's the 1 ball, no strike pitch. Fink checks his swing, and he went around, says home plate umpire Steve Bartelstein, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Grant Fink, a product of the Cleveland Indians organization, played in single A ball with the Indians. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And Fink, a fly ball to center field. Aliviato a couple of steps back on it, and he'll make the catch. That's out number 2. 2 flyouts to center for the Wild Things here in this inning, and it's 2 up, 2 down, and that'll bring up the shortstop Austin Wolbrock. Wolbrock so far in the day, 1 for 2, grounded out in the third, and singled in inning number 5. 2 men out, top of the 7th, 4-2. The Evansville Otters lead, and Wolbrock at the plate. 14 RBIs on the year for Wolbrock, is currently good. For 5th on the team. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way to Wolbrock. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike. Count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on Wolbrock. 7 strikeouts on the day for Hunter Ackerman as he's going here in the 7th. Has his sign, the 0-1, and Wolbrock fouls this one off. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count on the Wild Things shortstop. 2 men out here in this top of the 7th inning. Wild Things have collected 6 hits on the day against Hunter Ackerman, while the Evansville Otters combined between Stanley and Agnew Whelan have 7 hits on the day. 2-run lead for the Evansville Otters. Yamaguchi right now out talking to his pitcher, Hunter Ackerman, as they want to get on the same page here for this 2-strike pitch, and they've done that a lot with 2 strikes tonight. The Ackerman has called Yamaguchi out, and they've discussed the pitch they want to throw to the batter at the plate. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the no ball 2-strike pitch. And it's outside for a ball. Austin Wolbrock wisely laying off, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on the Wild Things shortstop. 2 men out, top of the 7th. 4-2 Evansville leads. Ackerman has his sign, the 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Austin Wolbrock strikes out, and that will end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Wild Things here in the 7th. And after 6.5, the score, the Evansville Otters 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers, Expect an expert.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 7th, and the score, the Evansville Otters 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. New pitcher on the mound for the Wild Things is left-hander Brian O'Keefe. O'Keefe enters this one with a record of 2-0, a 3.60 ERA, appearing in his 16th game, has made 2 starts on the season, has owned 30 innings of work, giving up 14 runs, 12 earned on 27 hits, 9 walks, and 29 strikeouts on the year for Brian O'Keefe. So O'Keefe enters the game. Final line on Colin Stanley. Stanley went an inning and 2/3, gave up no runs on just 2 hits, no walks, and 1 strikeout. Due up to face Brian O'Keefe here in the 7th. Nick Baylog, Chris Breen, and Jeff Gardner, 4, 5, and 6 against the left-hander O'Keefe. O'Keefe, one of 2 left-handers out there in the Wild Things bullpen. O'Keefe and Devin Davis round out the lefties in the bullpen. Davis, the setup man, and O'Keefe, the long relief guy, has made 2 starts on the year for the Wild Things. His last start came against Southern Illinois, and it was not a very good one for O'Keefe. Only went 4 1/3 in that one and gave up 6 runs in the ball game. Leading things off, the first baseman, Nick Baylog. Baylog so far 1 for 3, grounded out in the first, grounded out in the third, and did a 2 RBI double in the 5th. So Brian O'Keefe looking for a bounce-back effort here tonight against the Evansville Otters. Otters lead 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things in this one. O'Keefe has his sign. Here's the pitch, and this one fouled back behind the seats, and the count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on the Evansville first baseman. Brian O'Keefe into the game, pitched for the University of Bridgeport last season. The 0-1, and that one's inside for a ball. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. O'Keefe making his 16th appearance for the Wild Things this season. O'Keefe has his sign, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. This ball fouled back, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 here on Nick Baylog. Baylog gave the Evansville Otters the lead with that 2 RBI double back in the 5th. The game was tied at 2. The Wild Things had come back and tied the game before that big 2 RBI double by Baylog. O'Keefe has his sign. He's set in the 1-2 pitch, and this one ground to the right side. Austin Wobrock will handle it. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Otters here in the 7th, and that'll bring to the plate the right fielder, Chris Breen. Breen so far in the day, 1 for 1, singled and scored a run in the 2nd, walked in the 3rd, and walked in inning number 5. 1 man out, bottom of the 7th, 4-2. The Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Brian O'Keefe in to pitch the 7th, as there will be more action in the Wild Things bullpen, as Andrew Wick and Devin Davis moving around out there. O'Keefe has his sign, the pitch, and that one swung on and missed. No balls and a strike here to Chris Breen. 0-1 the count on the Evansville right fielder. Was out in right field last night as well in the Evansville Otters win. O'Keefe has his sign, the 0-1, and Breen hits this one to right field. Dave Popkins going back on it a couple of steps. He'll camp under it and makes the catch. That is out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Otters, and they lead 4-2 here in the bottom of the 7th. That brings up the left fielder, Jeff Gardner. Gardner so far 2 for 3 in the game, singled in the 2nd, struck out in the 3rd, and singled in inning number 5. 2 men out, bottom of the 7th. 4-2, Evansville leads here from Bosse Field. There's also action in the Evansville Otters bullpen as Hunter Ackerman has gone 7 innings, giving up 2 runs. Warming up out there is Matt Wivenis. Saw Wivenis in last night's ball game. O'Keefe has his sign, the pitch, and that one's in there for a strike on the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count. It's Devin Davis who starts throwing out in the Wild Things bullpen. Wick, his protector. O'Keefe has his sign. He's set in the 0-1 offering. And this ball grounded towards first. Uxa missed on the backhand. Fink backing him up. Throws to O'Keefe covering. And it's in time for out number 3. A quick thinking there by Brian O'Keefe. 4-1 on the putout. And that ends the inning. 1-2-3 go the Evansville Otters here in the 7th. And after 7, the score. Evansville Otters 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the eighth, and the score: the Evansville Otters 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. Hunter Ackerman back out there for his eighth inning of work in this ball game. Last inning got the Wild Things 1-2-3. Zach Fish would fly out, Grant Fink would fly out, and Austin Wobrock struck out to end the inning. Due up here in the eighth, Andrew Heck, Chris Grayson, and Ricky Rodriguez, 1, 2, and 3, facing off against Hunter Ackerman. Now Ackerman, in his third year in the Frontier League, is first with the Evansville Otters, 3-4 with a 3.87 ERA, 13 games, 13 starts for Ackerman this season. In 2015, was a member of the Southern Illinois Miners and the Joliet Slammers, 1-3 with the Slammers in 9 games, 0-0 with a 6.23 ERA in 9 games with the Miners. And in 2014, he was a member of both the Schaumburg Boomers and the Southern Illinois Miners. As the Boomers, he was 3-3 with a 5.24, and the Miners, he was 2-0 with a 1.68. Andrew Heck making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the top of the eighth. Heck so far on the day is 1 for 3, strikeout, flyout, single on the day. Ackerman has his sign, he's set. Here's the pitch. And that one's low for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Andrew Heck, the leadoff man for the Washington Wild Things out there in left field. Ackerman has his sign, the 1-0. And that one's low for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count here on Andrew Heck. Nobody out, top of the eighth. Evansville leads 4-2 over your Washington Wild Things. Hunter Ackerman in here for the eighth inning. 2-0 the count on Andrew Heck as Ackerman making a stroll around the mound here. So he'll step back on and is ready to redeliver. 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out, top of the eighth. Evansville leading this one 4-2. Ackerman has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball, no strike pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. Count goes to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out, top of the eighth. Andrew Heck at the plate facing off against Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman has his sign, the 2-1. And Heck pops this one up foul territory. Baylog giving chase off to the right. And he's going to not get there as it lands just behind the Evansville bullpen. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Andrew Heck. 2-2 the count. Heck owns one of the team's 6 hits on the day. A single back in the 5th inning as he's trying to get that average back up there. Hit .299 for the Wild Things a year ago. So in there, Colton Yamaguchi out there to talk to Ackerman, as he's been doing with 2 strikes most of the time tonight. 2-2 the count here on Andrew Heck, the leadoff man. Double barrel action now in the Evansville bullpen, as joining Wivinus out there is Ken Frosch. Saw both of those guys in last night's ball game. Ackerman looks in, has his sign, the 2-2 pitch. And Heck takes this one for a ball, and the count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. Chris Grayson, the on-deck man, following Andrew Heck. Ackerman looks in, has his sign, and the 3 ball, 2 strike pitch. And a swing and a miss there by Heck. He strikes out, and that's out number 1 here in the top of the 8th. So Heck is out number 1. That brings to the plate the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far on the day is 0 for 3, a ground out and 2 flyouts on the day. 9 strikeouts on the day for Hunter Ackerman so far. That was his 9th strikeout. And center fielder Chris Grayson coming to the plate. For Hunter Ackerman, his season high as far as strikeouts has been 8. That was back on July 8th, so setting a season high in that strikeout number. That pitch is outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes here on Chris Grayson. And in terms of his career in the Frontier League, 9 strikeouts is tied for his career high. Grayson pops this one foul back behind the seats, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. He struck out 9 men 2 times in his career in the Frontier League. 9 strikeouts so far on the night tonight against the Wild Things. Ackerman has his sign. Here's the 1-1, and Grayson takes this one inside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count here on the Wild Things center fielder. Grayson batting from the left side against the left-hander Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman has his sign. He's set, and the 2 ball, 1 strike pitch. Grayson fouls this one off, and the count remains 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 man out. Hunter Ackerman, a very good start. Bounce back start for him. Gave up 4 earned runs his last time out in 3 innings of work. So far, 7 1/3 in this one, and has just allowed 2 on the night. Ackerman has his sign. He's set, and the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. A swing and a miss. Grayson strikes out. That is a new career high in strikeouts for Hunter Ackerman. Has 10 strikeouts on the night, and that brings to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 0 for 2. Flew out in the first, walked and scored a run in the fourth, and struck out in inning number 5. 2 men out here in the top of the 8th. 4-2, the Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Time is called now, as that'll bring the pitching coach, Max Peterson, out of the dugout, and we are going to have a pitching change. So we're going to take a break here on the MSA Sports Network. We'll be right back with more Washington Wild Things baseball.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, currently in the top of inning number 8, and the Evansville Otters leading your Washington Wild Things 4-2. There are 2 outs in the top of the 8th. New pitcher on for the Evansville Otters is right-hander Matt Wivenis. Wivenis enters this one with no record and 0.84 ERA. Appearing in his 7th game, has thrown 10 2/3 innings of work, just giving up 1 run. It was earned on 4 hits, 4 walks, and 16 strikeouts on the year for Wivenis. Final line for the starter, Hunter Ackerman, went 7 2/3 in this ball game, gave up 2 runs, both earned on 6 hits, no walks, and 10 strikeouts. Those 10 strikeouts are a new career high for Hunter Ackerman. Ricky Rodriguez, first man to face him here in the top of the 8th with 2 men out. 2 strikeouts earlier in this inning by Hunter Ackerman has ended the night for him. So Matt Wivenis, the new pitcher. Wivenis looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch, and Rodriguez takes that one for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. Saw Wivenis in last night's game, pitched a scoreless inning, struck out a man and walked a man yesterday. Here's the 0-1, and that one's outside for a ball. Rodriguez checking his swing in time, and the count goes even to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Ricky Rodriguez. 2 men out in the top of the 8th. Wivenis' 1-1 pitch, and Rodriguez takes that one outside as well, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. Rodriguez checking his swing, did not go around there. 2-1, 2 men out, top of the 8th. Evansville leads 4-2. Wivenis' 2-1 pitch, and Rodriguez pops this one up to right field. Chris Breen a couple of steps back on it, and he will make the catch, and that is out number 3. So 1, 2, 3 go your Wild Things here in the 8th, and after 7.5 the score, Evansville Otters 4, and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 8th, and the score, the Evansville Otters 4, and your Washington Wild Things 2. New pitcher on for the Washington Wild Things, as it'll be left-hander Devin Davis. Davis enters this one with a record of 1-1, a 3.19 ERA, appearing in his 27th game. Has thrown 31 innings of work, giving up 11 runs, all earned on 30 hits, 9 walks, and 33 strikeouts on the year for Davis. Final line for the reliever Brian O'Keefe. O'Keefe won an inning, did not give up a run on no hits, no walks, and no strikeouts. Due up to face Davis here in the bottom of the 8th. Denzel Richardson, Colton Yamaguchi, and Ko Aliviato, 7, 8, and 9, facing off against Davis. Richardson making his way to the plate right now. Richardson so far on the day, 0 for 3, flew out in the second, struck out in the fourth, and struck out in inning number 5. Devin Davis, in his first year with the Wild Things, has been pretty successful on the mound. Had one hiccup in the middle of the season, but other than that, has been very good on the mound. First pitch, and that one's on the inside corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Davis takes no time fooling around, gets the sign, and throws his pitch. The 0-1, and that one swung on and missed. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Davis, a product of the Chicago White Sox organization, was pitching in Double-A for the White Sox before the Wild Things picked him up in the offseason. The 0-2, and that one hit Denzel Richardson, the third man that has been hit by a Wild Things pitcher tonight, so it's a leadoff hit by pitch, and there's a runner at first with nobody out for the Evansville Otters here in the bottom of the 8th. That'll bring to the plate the catcher, Colton Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi so far in the day, 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch back in the second, flew out in the fourth, and grounded out in inning number 5. Nobody out bottom of the 8th, 4-2. The Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Devin Davis on the mound, making his team-leading 27th appearance of the season. Lefty-on-lefty matchup. Davis has been very tough against left-handers this year, giving him a very fast fastball that they haven't been able to hit. Showing bunt is Yamaguchi, and he takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Yamaguchi. Davis on the hill, looks in, has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at first, and the 1-0. Yamaguchi again showing bunt, pops this one up. It'll go back behind the seats, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on the Evansville catcher. Yamaguchi, the only catcher listed on the Evansville roster, as Evansville has 2 catchers that are currently on the disabled list. Davis has his sign, checks Richardson at first, and the 1-1. Yamaguchi showing bunt again, pulls back, and takes a strike on the outside corner this time. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and with 2 strikes, we'll see if that sacrifice bunt is still on. It looks like it is. Yamaguchi squaring around early. The 1-2 pitch, pulls back and takes a ball. The count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count here on Colton Yamaguchi. Nobody out, bottom of the 8th, 4-2. The Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Davis's 2-2 offering, and Yamaguchi pulls back and takes a called strike 3. Devin Davis strikes him out, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Runner at first with 1 man out, and that brings up the center fielder, Ko Aliviato. Aliviato so far in the day, 1 for 3, RBI single in the second, flew out in the fourth, and grounded out in inning number 6. 1 man out here in the bottom of the 8th. 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors for the Otters. 2 runs on 6 hits and no errors for your Washington Wild Things. Devin Davis looking into Kyle Pollock. Davis has his sign, checks first in the pitch. And that one's in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on K.O. Leviato. Snap throw to first. And Richardson just getting in there ahead of the tag of Logan Uxa. Uxa does not agree at all as he's barking to the base umpire, Drew Ashcraft, about that one. It was very close play at first. Bang, bang, as Richardson just sneaked that fingertip in front of the glove of Logan Uxa. 1 ball, no strikes. Devin Davis looks in. Davis has his sign. He's set. And the 1-0 offering. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. 1 out in the inning as Davis struck out Colton Yamaguchi after hitting Denzel Richardson. Richardson the runner at first with 1 man out. Davis has his sign. He's set. And the 2-0. And that one's low as well, so Davis falling behind K.O. Leviato. 3 balls and no strikes. 1 out runner at first for the Evansville Otters. Denzel Richardson on the year currently has 3 stolen bases in 18 games for the Otters. The 3-0, and that one's a called strike on the low inside corner. Count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 here on Leviato, the number 9 hitter out in center field for Evansville. Leviato standing in there at 5'6", 160 pounds. And Hawaii native. Here's the 3-ball, 1 strike pitch, and that one's outside, ball 4. First walk in the inning for Devin Davis, as now there are runners at first and second with 1 man out, and that'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Rolando Gomez. Gomez so far 1 for 4, grounded out in the first, flew out in the second, bunted out in the 5th, and singled in inning number 6. 1 man out, bottom of the 8th, 4-2. The Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Wild Things trying to come back in this one and even the series at 1. Evansville trying to get the series win here in Game 2. Devin Davis looking in. Davis has his sign. He's set. Checks Richardson at second, and the pitch. And that one's in there on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count, back to the top of the order for the Evansville Otters. It's the 5th time around facing the Wild Things staff. Davis has his sign. Here's the 0-1, and this ball line foul back behind the seats off to the left, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on Rolando Gomez. Gomez was hitting in the number 3 spot last night, moved up to the leadoff spot with John Schultz getting the night off. Davis has his sign, checks Richardson, and the no ball 2 strike pitch. And it's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Rolando Gomez. Davis would love a ground ball if he can get it here with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Devin Davis looks in. Davis has his sign. He's set. And the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one's just low and just outside for a ball. Count goes even at 2-2. Davis, came into today's game with Trevor Foss being signed by the Cleveland Indians. A lot of the pitching stats have opened up for the Wild Things. Davis came in 4th in strikeouts with 33. Davis has his sign, the 2-2, and this one's fouled off towards the Wild Things dugout, so the count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you haven't heard earlier in the day, Trevor Foss had his contract purchased by the Cleveland Indians, as with their low A baseball team will be starting tomorrow night, his first start in affiliated ball since 2015. Davis has his sign, checks second, the 2-2, and that one's in the dirt for a ball. Count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Trevor Foss in the low A organization with the Cleveland Indians, making his first start tomorrow night for the Lake County Captains. Devin Davis looks in to Kyle Pollock. Davis has his sign. He's set. And the 3-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Davis strikes him out. Meanwhile, a double steal as Denzel Richardson gets up to third. And K.O. Leviato to second. So runners are at second and third with 2 men out. A strikeout there for Devin Davis of Rolando Gomez. And that'll bring to the plate the second baseman Josh Allen. Manager Greg Langben now coming out of the Wild Things dugout. As there is action in the Wild Things bullpen. Andrew Wick is getting ready out there. Langben also serves as the pitching coach, and now we will have a pitching change. So we're going to take another break here on the MSA Sports Network. We'll be right back with more coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently in the bottom of the 8th with the Evansville Otters up 4-2. They have runners at second and third with 2 men out. And now coming on is the right-hander Andrew Wick. Wick threw a scoreless inning in last night's game. Comes into this one with a record of 2-1, 2 saves on the year, a 4.82 ERA, appearing in his 23rd game of the year. Has thrown 28 innings of work, giving up 19 runs, 15 earned on 22 hits, 11 walks, and 25 strikeouts on the year for Andrew Wick. So Wick on to try to get this final out in the 8th inning. The man up to face him is Josh Allen, the second baseman. Allen, so far on the day, is 1 for 2, homered in the first, struck out in the second, walked and scored a run in the 5th, and was hit by a pitch his last time up in inning number 6. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Game 3 of this 3-game series can be heard right here on the MSA Sports Network. Tomorrow night, 7:35 first pitch. As taking the mound for your Wild Things is Chase Cunningham. The Evansville Otters have not yet named their starter for tomorrow night's ball game. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th, 4-2. The Evansville Otters lead. Andrew Wick, the new pitcher for the Wild Things. Wick spent last season in rookie ball with the Tampa Bay Rays, his first year with the Wild Things, standing at a 5'10", 180 from Briar, Washington, as he comes into this ball game. Last night, as we said, threw a scoreless inning against the Evansville Otters, struck out 2 in the inning in his perfect inning of work. So Andrew Wick has concluded his warm-up tosses, and Josh Allen making his way to the plate. Allen drove in the first run of this ball game with his 8th home run of the season. 2 men out, bottom of the 8th, 4-2. The Evansville Otters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Righty-on-righty matchup, Andrew Wick facing off against Josh Allen. Andrew Wick was the closer earlier in the year for the Wild Things, but was moved to the setup role after struggling in the 9th inning. Wick has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And a check swing there by Allen. He went around, says the home plate umpire Bartelstein. This one gets away from Pollock, but fortunately for the Wild Things, not far enough for Denzel Richardson to score. No balls and 1 strike, the count here on Josh Allen as Andrew Wick looks to get this final out here in the 8th inning. 4-2, the Evansville Otters lead in this ball game. Josh Allen at the plate. Evansville looking for some insurance runs here in the inning. Andrew Wick looking into Kyle Pollock. Wick has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at second, and the 0-1 offering. And that one's in there for a strike, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Wick struck out 2 last night in his 1 inning of work. Looking to add to his strikeout total here tonight and get the final out in this 8th inning. Wick looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the no ball 2 strike pitch. And that one's just inside for a ball. Count goes to 1-2. Wick just missing that inside corner. Josh Allen wisely lays off, and Wick got him to chase a pitch low and outside earlier in the at-bat, so tried to get him on the inside part here. Wasn't doing. Andrew Wick looks in. Wick to Kyle Pollock, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball 2 strike pitch, and now time is called as Andrew Wick steps off and wants to go through the signs once more. 1 ball 2 strikes, and 2 men out. Wick looks into Pollock, has his sign, he's set, checks third, and the 1 ball 2 strike pitch. And that one's high for a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wick losing the handle on that one. Count even here. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th and a 4-2 lead for the Evansville Otters. Bottom of the 8th, Andrew Wick trying to get out of this inning. Wick looking into Pollock, has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball 2 strike pitch. And a swing and a foul ball, so Allen staying alive here against Andrew Wick. Righty-on-righty matchup. 2 balls, 2 strikes remain the count. 2 men out. Josh Allen standing in there, 5'10", 180 pounds from Fort Meade, Florida, a returner to this Evansville roster. Denzel Richardson, runner at third. K.O. Aliviato, the runner at second. Andrew Wick looking in. Wick has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball 2 strike pitch. And this one grounded in fair territory to the right side. Wick handles it, throw on to first, and that's in time for the third out of the inning. So Wick comes in and gets the last out of the inning, and no runs in the inning for the Evansville Otters on no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 8 innings of play, the score, the Evansville Otters 4, and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same old's true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the ninth, and the score, the Evansville Otters 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. New pitcher on for the Evansville Otters as it's their closer, Randy McCurry. McCurry enters this one with a record of 3-2, 18 saves on the year, a 2.73 ERA, appearing in his 28th game, has thrown 26 and a third innings of work, giving up 10 runs, 8 earned on 22 hits, 11 walks, and 31 strikeouts on the year. Due up to face him here in the ninth, Dave Popkins, Logan Uxa, and Kyle Pollock, 4, 5, and 6, facing off against Randy McCurry. McCurry, 18 saves on the year, got the save in last night's game, even though he allowed a run in the ninth. The first pitch, and that one's low to Dave Popkins, 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. The Wild Things will try to rally back. They never have gone down without a fight this season, so we'll see what they can do in the ninth. This one's fouled back, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Seems like no matter what the score, they always have fight left in them as they'll try to make this a game again. 4-2 Evansville leads. McCurry has his sign, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. This one grounded to first, handled over there by Baylog. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the top of the ninth, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Logan Uxa. Uxa so far 1 for 3, struck out in the second, RBI double in the fourth, and struck out in inning number 6. Now 1 man out here in the top of the ninth. 4-2 Evansville leads. Uxa, the star of the game yesterday, 3 for 5 with a home run and 3 RBIs in the ball game. Randy McCurry looks in. McCurry has his sign. He's set. And the pitch on the way. And Uxa takes this one for a strike at the knees. No balls and a strike. McCurry allowed a run last night in his inning of work. Gave up a total of 3 hits. Did not walk a man and didn't strike anybody out. The 0-1. And that one's low for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Logan Uxa. Wild Things need 2 to tie, 3 to take the lead. McCurry has his sign and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one swung on a miss by Uxa. Uxa going down in the zone to get that one, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 1 man out, top of the ninth. Uxa at the plate. It's Randy McCurry trying to pick up his 19th save of the year. Wild Things trying to come back. The 1-2, and that one dips way low and inside. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 1 man out, top of the ninth. Randy McCurry, the right-hander in. Has his sign, he's set, and the 2-2 pitch. And Uxa takes this one outside. Count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. On deck batter is Kyle Pollock following Logan Uxa. Here's the pitch, 3-2 from McCurry. And it's inside ball 4. A 1-out walk. Logan Uxa able to reach base here with 1 man out. And that'll bring to the plate Kyle Pollock. Pollock represents the tying run so far today. Pollock 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in the ball game. 1 man out, top of the ninth here from Bosse Field in Evansville, Indiana. Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Wild Things and the Evansville Otters. Randy McCurry walks Logan Uxa with 1 man out. Now has to face Kyle Pollock. McCurry looking into Yamaguchi, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way to Pollock. And that one's in there for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things catcher. Evansville defense playing pretty much straight up, with Baylog holding the runner on at first. Ux has 2 stolen bases on the year at first base. Here's the 0-1 from McCurry. That one's way outside. Yamaguchi having to slide all the way to the outside part of the plate to make that catch. And the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1, 1 man out, top of the 9th. Randy McCurry in the ball game for the Otters. 4-2 the score between your Wild Things and Evansville. Evansville leads this one. McCurry has his sign and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And this one lined to left field, and that's a base hit. So 2 men on with 1 out now here. Kyle Pollock's first hit of the day, as that tying run is on first base now with 1 man out. And that brings to the plate the designated hitter, Zach Fish. Fish so far in the day 0 for 3, grounded out in the second, grounded out in the fourth, and flew out in inning number 7. And actually it's going to be a pinch hitter, as Jimmy Yezzo will come in to pinch hit for Zach Fish. So Yezzo comes into the game as the pinch hitter. Yezzo so far on the year for the Washington Wild Things is hitting .213, 8 home runs, and 27 RBIs. Those 8 home runs currently good for second on the Wild Things team. Uxa the runner at second, Pollock the runner at first. McCurry looks in, has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at second, and the pitch on the way. And Yezzo, a line drive down the right field line. That one goes foul. If that was fair, that had a chance to give the Wild Things the lead. No balls and a strike here on Jimmy Yezzo. Logan Exo, the runner at second. A 1-out walk for him and a single for Kyle Pollock. He's at first base. Yezzo at the plate. McCurry looks in. Has his sign. He's set. Checks Uxa at second. And the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And Pollock, a ground ball towards the middle. Rolando Gomez steps on second for 1 on to first. And it is in time for the double play. And the game is over. Final score in this one, Evansville 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. Evansville takes the first 2 games from your Washington Wild Things in this series. The winning pitcher, Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman improves on the year to 4-4. The loser, Sam Agnew-Whelan. Agnew-Whelan falling to 2-3 on the season. Keep it right here on the MSA Sports Network. When we come back, the Washington Wild Things postgame show. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. POWX is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. POWX can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to POWX.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Final score in this one, the Evansville Otters take Game 2 from your Wild Things 4-2. The winning pitcher, Hunter Ackerman, improves to 4-4. The loser, Sam Agnew-Whelan, falling to 2-3 on the season. The save goes to Randy McCurry. It's his 19th save of the season. Scoring recap for you here in this one. The Evansville Otters took the lead early on in the bottom of the first. Rolando Gomez grounded out to start things, and then Josh Allen crushing a solo home run over the left field wall. It was Allen's 8th home run of the season, and the Evansville Otters took a 1-0 lead. Then Christopher Rio Pedre would line out, and Nick Baylog would ground out to end the inning. Then in the bottom of the second, Chris Breen singled to start things, and Jeff Gardner would single as well, so there'd be runners at first and third with 1 man out. Denzel Richardson would fly out, but not very deep. Colton Yamaguchi was hit by a pitch, and then K.O. Aliviato came through with an RBI single. Chris Breen scored, and Evansville took a 2-0 lead. Then Sam Agnew-Whelan buckled down. Rolando Gomez flew out, and Josh Allen struck out to end the inning. After that, Agnew-Whelan rolled through the third and the fourth. His opposition, Hunter Ackerman, very good on the night. Retired the Wild Things 1-2-3 in the first, faced 4 men in the second, and retired them 1-2-3 in the third. Wild Things would get on the board in the top of the fourth. Chris Grayson flew out to start things. Then Ricky Rodriguez, a 1-out triple. There'd be a runner at third with 1 man out before Dave Popkins came through with an RBI single. Rodriguez came in to score, and Evansville's lead was cut to 2-1. Next batter, Logan Uxa, came through with an RBI double that hit off the right field wall. Popkins would come in to score, and the game would be tied at 2. Pollock would strike out, and Zach Fish would ground out to end that inning. Then the Evansville Otters get back on the board in the bottom of the 5th against Sam Agnew-Whelan. The inning started out with Rolando Gomez trying to bunt for a base hit. It was right out in front of the plate. Kyle Pollock coming out of the crouch and making a very nice defensive play to get the first out of that inning. Then Josh Allen would walk. Christopher Rio Pedre would walk, so there'd be runners at first and second with one man out before Nick Baylog came through with a 2 RBI double. Both Allen and Rio Pedre would score, and Evansville would take a 4-2 lead. Chris Bream would then walk, and that would be all on the night for the starter, Sam Agnew-Whelan. Colin Stanley came into the game. First man he faced, Jeff Gardner, would single. That would load the bases with one man out before Denzel Richardson struck out and Colton Yamaguchi grounded out to end the inning. Final line on Sam Agnew-Whelan. He went 4 1/3, gave up 4 runs, all earned on 5 hits, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts on the night for Agnew-Whelan, making his 4th start of the season. Then Colin Stanley out of the bullpen. Pretty good outing for him, as after that 5th inning, he faced 4 men in the 6th inning before getting out of that one. Stanley went 1 2/3 total, did not give up a run on 2 hits, no walks, and 1 strikeout. And then after that 5th inning, or the 4th inning, when Ackerman allowed 2 runs, he settled down once again, faced 5 men in the 5th, and retired the Wild Things 1, 2, 3 in both the 6th and 7th. Started pitching the top of the 8th, struck out Andrew Heck and Chris Grayson to start things, and then he would be pulled. It would be all for Hunter Ackerman. Matt Wivenis would come in and get the final out of the inning as Ricky Rodriguez flew out to end that inning. In total for Hunter Ackerman, went 7 2/3 innings of work, giving up 2 runs, both earned, on 6 hits, no walks, and a career-high 10 strikeouts for Hunter Ackerman. For Matt Wivenis, Wivenis went 1/3 of an inning, did not give up a run on no hits, no walks, no strikeouts for Wivenis. Then in the top of the 9th, Randy McCurry came in looking for his 19th save of the year. Dave Popkins grounded out to start things. Then the Wild Things got 2 men on as they threatened again. Logan Uxa would walk, and Kyle Pollock would single, so there'd be runners at first and second with 1 man out. Jimmy Yezzo would pinch hit for designated hitter Zach Fish, and Yezzo would hit into a 6-4-3 double play, and that would end up ending the game. Final score, Evansville 4 and your Washington Wild Things 2. As we said, the win going to Hunter Ackerman. Ackerman improves to 4-4 on the year. The loss going to Sam Agnew-Whelan. Agnew-Whelan falls to 2-3. The save going to Randy McCurry. McCurry's 19th save of the year. Hunter Ackerman, a very good start for Evansville, and the Wild Things just unfortunately could not overcome that. Ackerman, a career-high 10 strikeouts on the night against your Washington Wild Things. The Wild Things star of the game here in this one, we're going to go ahead and give to Colin Stanley. Stanley coming in a tough situation with runners at second and third, or first and second with 1 man out, was able to get out of that jam and then pitched a clean inning of work following that. So Stanley gets your star of the game. 1 2/3 innings of work, no runs, no earned on 2 hits, no walks, and 1 strikeout. Colin Stanley, the star of the game. Next Wild Things broadcast tomorrow night, 7:35, first pitch Eastern time. Game 3 of this 3-game series. Chase Cunningham taking the mound for your Wild Things, and the Evansville Otters have yet to name their starter for the ball game. Wild Things will try to salvage a game here in this 3-game series. But the final score tonight, Evansville defeats your Wild Things 4-2. We'd like to thank you for listening to the MSA Sports Network. And from Bosse Field in Evansville, Indiana, I'm Zach Ziegler saying have a good night, everybody.
MSA Sports. Press 1 to resume or 3 to end broadcast. Your broadcast has been ended.